What's up, Gabby? We'll get started in just a second, folks. I just got to re-promote this because my last room froze only as Haps can do. Right before we're about to go live, it doesn't load. Oh God!
That's okay.
So I
Did
got
you
to.
send her an invite?
What's that?
Did you send her an invite?
Yes, I did. Sweet
Okay.
Pea. Yeah. She was live as I was coming
I
on.
know. I was in chat with her.
Yeah, promoting to come over
Yes.
here, which I appreciate you ladies. Thank you. We
Yeah,
had
she was doing so
135
good.
people looking at it. Hello, Helga. So I got to make sure we get all those people back. As you can see, Gabby, I made us a new logo.
I love it.
I was like, I got to put Gabby on here. The black girl thing doesn't match. So yeah, it was just like,
We're all
I don't know.
black somewhere.
That is true. We're all one.
I
We
love
all
it. That's
man.
really cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
and you know that's your astro chart under the thing, right?
Yes, I noticed that. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, he even put the astrological, like,
Yeah.
I loved it. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. And we
I
just
was
waiting
gonna
for
promote a couple books too.
Sure. Feel free to do it. We got
Yeah,
Sweet
we'll
Pea
probably
here
do
now.
that. There she is.
She's trying to connect in here.
I'm flipping around here. Flipping the camera.
Hello, Maya Wahanda. Thank you for the follow. Okay, let me put everybody on the screen and go get going.
I was just live so I could tell people this was going on over here. So I was like, y'all got to know what's going on. So I meant to do it earlier, but I didn't get a chance.
Thank you, Sweet Pea, for the promotion of it.
Oh,
That helps us all out.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
I'm going to put Gabby as the center screen since she'll be the primary the person holding down the show today, so she gets the big screen. And there we go. I'll get a small screen.
You can have the big screen because I got to figure out how to get my phone sideways.
Well, the phone screen always has a wider view. Mine is just smaller because I have a webcam, so mine's going to stay that size either way.
Oh,
welcome everyone. Unfortunately, you couldn't. What's that?
I'll switch with Gabby.
You'll switch with Gabby?
Yeah, I don't mind. Just throw me wherever. I'm good.
Okay.
You can't ever get it to work right.
You don't bother me.
Thank you. That's good.
There we go. All right. So she went the long way. We welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here from whichever side, Gabby's side, Sweet Pea side, my side, whatever the case may be. We lost a lot of people probably, but hopefully we'll catch them because the last room went low, and I didn't want to take any more time than we already took to get started in the first place because we're about 12 minutes behind. But yeah, welcome. This is by popular demand. Gabby will be our MC tonight. Thank you, Sweet Pea, for allowing us to read her chart. And I'm going to put it up actually where I am. I'm going to put it up there after this intro that I have here in my email. We'll share the screen. And she has the great chart because it explains basically everything on it. So this will be great. And then Gabby will let you know all these things. This is a follow-up episode from yesterday that Gabby and I did on our every weekly Wednesday show that you can catch 6:30 Central Time every Wednesday. We have a topic for the next few weeks. We'll be doing astrology because it's so much to teach, and there was a lot of people that were very interested in that particular episode. So thank you, Sweet Pea, for the suggestion, and everybody that participated yesterday. We have the live chat already blowing up, so this is great. Everybody seems interested. Blazing Blasphemer, hello, you look new. I've never seen you before. From Ben, I don't know which Ben that is.
I asked you about this.
What's that?
Blazing is one of the people that were asking about this whole birth chart stuff, and I told him to go and do one. And I'm like, well, they were talking about it, and I need to ask him if they'll do a whole broadcast over it, because he wants to know more about it. He has his birth chart, but don't understand it. And then other people went and did theirs, like Helen. She went and did hers, but has no idea what any of it means. So by y'all explaining mine, they may learn and understand.
Absolutely.
You're in the perfect place because we'll break down whatever you need to know here on the show. And we kind of glossed over yesterday, but the next few weeks, starting today, we'll really go full on with that. So without further ado, we'll get started. I'm going to pull up the screen share here through my email. And I'm going to see if I can get a wide screen at some point on this, but I got to play around with it a bit to get it going here. So we have the chart. And let's rearrange things. Let's take the logo down for now. And because I want that to kind of be the center focus, the chart. So let me put that there. And There we go. So,
Much.
as you can see, this is a chart here. She's a fellow Cancerian, as am I. Cancer season just passed. It is currently Leo season, as of like 6 days now. Today is
Mhm.
July 29th. Leo season starts like the 23rd, 22nd of July-ish. So, feel free at any moment to say, okay, this doesn't make sense. We'll stop. Gabby or I will break down whatever it is you're confused about. But for right now, we know everything is planet, house based, and I'm pretty sure Gabby will add anything else as we need to know it as we go along. But what you see here on the left are all the planets, and then these are the astrological signs that you'll see. And as we'll go down, Gabby will say the house and all that good stuff. So now that my intro's over, I'll let Gabby take over at this point, and she'll just instruct me, scroll, do this or that. But she'll be the MC here. So thank you, Gabby.
Thank you, TJ. And thank you, Sweet Pea, again. This is so cool. I'm honored to be able to show you a little deeper about yourself. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to dive in deep and help people figure out why they are the way they are. And this is just one of those cool things. Before we get started, though, I do want to put out some books that may help if you're wanting to dive a little bit deeper. This goes for everybody in chat, too. I love books. Books are just awesome. And so one way to kind of get yourself like into understanding relationships from a sun, moon, and rising point of view is this book here. It's called Astrology for Relationships. And it has like a complete compatible guide. This is for parents, lovers, friends, family, colleagues, bosses you may have that you're like, what the hell is their problem? Like, hey, what's your sign? And then you go and look and figure it out, because this is what this book is for. It is written by Jake Register. I don't know if you guys can see that on the bottom.
It's
But yeah.
tiny, but yeah, maybe you could put a link towards.
Yeah, I can put a link in there later today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really, really fascinating. It kind of shows you every level of what each sign represents, why they are the way they are, what's most compatible for which sign is there. It's really awesome. I love this book. It's awesome. The second book that I highly recommend for anybody who's dabbling is this book here. This is called The Only Astrology Book You Will Ever Need.
I have that one.
Awesome.
This book is awesome.
It's a
Oh yeah, look at this. Is a very thick book. Yeah, look at that.
A very applicable style.
This has pretty much everything from the diet for your specific sign to the way you like to be sensual. It goes into every single aspect of each planet, each conjunction. It's just awesome. It's fascinating. They even like explain why each planet is in what sign, and kind of expresses what that really means for that sign in that type of planet. It's really deep. It dives really hardcore. Kind of gives you some elemental things as well that kind of complement your sign as well, which is pretty cool, because then you get to see what kind of crystal, what city you kind of would be more adaptable to. It's quite fascinating. And this is by Joanna Martine Woolfolk.
That sounds awesome. I had to grab that book. I read it at a library once, but I need to buy it.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful read. And I just got this book like a month or two ago. I don't know who wrote it because it doesn't say on the front, but okay, Lori Reed. There we go. But this is the Guide to Astrology. It's in a very glossy background. But it kind of gives you like a shorter, inclusive kind of understanding of each sign, the different areas that they're significant in, and kind of gives you like an understanding of what yin and yang factors, elements, qualities, identifying your strengths and weaknesses. It just kind of goes into that kind of aspects, gemstones, colors, health and career, and kind of tries to do matching, but I would prefer this one for matching if you're trying to figure out relationship status. This one's a better one. but this definitely will give you like a nibble, like a entree dish, like a little, like a, what do you call it? Like, I think it's like a catering. You know that big plate that has like all those like weird little like treats on it, like cheese, crackers.
Oh, like hors d'oeuvres or whatever that thing is
Yeah,
called.
that thingy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. It's like little tidbits of hors d'oeuvres. You're just eating it through, and you're like,
That,
oh, that's fascinating. That's great. And
mhm.
but that's all you get. You're like, oh, I'm full, but I don't really understand. But it's good. It's a good one here too. But that's pretty much all I have on astrology. Most of my stuff comes from my app that I have on my phone, which is that Time Nomad app.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good one. That's what I showed TJ.
Yep.
If you have an iPhone, you'll definitely be able to get to it. If you guys have Androids, I don't think they have an Android copy of that app.
Mm. Oh, wait, it should be playing. Sorry. Yep. I hate when YouTube you switch to things in auto plays, but yeah,
It happens.
Yeah. So get an iPhone if you want, or find someone on the internet with an iPhone so you can
Or
get.
you can go online and just go to, like, there's CoStar. That's a cool one. I recommend it for beginners, but once you get more comfortable with yourself, go find the pattern, or just go ahead and just go straight to the pattern. Because that one's really good for relationships as well. You and your partner can both have profiles on there, and you guys can kind of feel out what's going on
Mm-hmm.
during all the transitions. It's really nice to have your friends that you're with. They also you can add them on there as well, and you can do like these thing called bonds, where you collectively can grab one head and put the other head together, and it does this whole like swirly thing, and it gives you like a little plethora of little pie charts of what's significant about your relationship, either through friendship or through romance.
That sounds awesome. Very interactive and
Yes.
That sounds sweet.
That one's the pattern. I think I'll write it on the thingy. But yeah, that one's pretty cool. I think I'm spelling pattern right. If I'm not, let me know.
Yes, you spelled it right.
Okay. But yeah, so all right.
Just let me know what you would like me to do. Would you like to go to the chart, or what would you?
Yeah, we can go ahead and go to the chart. I think we can go ahead and start. That's fine. Are you ready, CP?
Yeah. What was the name of the one? Time Nomad?
Yeah, Time Nomad. I'll type it in the chat too.
Sweet Pea, I'm gonna need you to speak a little loud. We're having a hard time picking your voice up.
I may have to put my earbuds.
Or if you have earbuds, that'll be better.
Yeah. I just don't talk very loud either. That doesn't help.
And you have just such a soft, soothing Southern Belle voice. I think that's what it is.
Probably so. Just don't talk.
I just noticed something really crazy. We're all Midwesterners on this show. In Tennessee, Gab's in Missouri, I'm in Illinois. So we're all like in a triangle of Midwest. We're literally all like it's really interesting how things work out sometimes. Yeah.
Need that song Midwest Swing? You remember that song? From a long time ago, Midwest Swing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Sweet Pea, make sure your volume's all the way up on your phone.
Hang on. Almost there. Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. All right, Gab. So, however you would like to do it, you could do go over the whole thing. Like break down the planets or briefly go over everything we went over yesterday. However you want to do it.
Yeah, I'll definitely be breaking down the planets. I think definitely because I want people to definitely understand each one.
Sure.
It's very important for you to understand what your soul technically is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you came in, the time you came in, and what you're technically, like internally breathing, like living, breathing. It's literally your essence.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start to get comfortable with other people, then they get to see that other side of you, which is amazing. Because then they're like, they don't see your protection from the ascendant or your rising. So I think it's a beautiful thing to go ahead and we will definitely start there. Trying to find
And
Cancer.
people can go ahead and get their own done right now, and they could follow along a little bit.
Oh
like
yeah,
I-
absolutely. Go to cafeastrology.com.
Yep.
That one's definitely a really good one, especially because you can go in between different things.
Yep.
But yeah.
You have a description to read at your own leisure and all that good stuff. So after Gabby break down everything you need to know and how to read the chart, you'll feel a lot more comfortable knowing, okay, this is what this means. It's not just a bunch of words and gibberish sitting in front of you. You kind of know what you're reading at that point.
Absolutely.
Look at astrology as that word problem in math that you thought was hard until you knew what all the individual components were and the variables that you apply to each one. That's exactly what astrology is. Yeah.
If you like math, though, it's okay.
That's true. I love math, so that's probably why some people probably not so much. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the sun. Now, in case you guys aren't aware, we've already kind of went over it a little bit, but the sun is technically your essence, your soul essence. That's why the sun is given a little dot in the middle, that little icon on the left of the word sun. That's why it is the way it is, because it's pointing to the center of yourself. Now, hers happens to be in Cancer. So Cancer already has that duality of being feminine energy. So it's a feminine aspect. It has the element of water. It's a cardinal sign, like we talked about yesterday. They're kind of ones that like they can put their foot first and move forward in things a little bit quicker than most people who would be fixed or mutable. Oh, what's up, Will? Hey, baby.
All right, so just to pick up what Gabs was saying before she comes back, basically you have a modality, which is how you operate. You have a cardinal, fixed, or mutable. Cancer, and not only that, Cancer, you have an element assigned to each zodiac and a modality. Your modality is your mode of operation, how you will go about things, and then you have a water element, which adds to your general personality. So Cancer is a water sign with the modality of cardinal. So they're a home, family driven. So you'll see them initiating family reunions. Hey, let's get the family together because that's a function of their cardinal modality, which is to lead foot first, and then their element of water makes them more emotional, supportive to others, being understanding from a familiar standpoint. So that's what you can understand about that. But I'm gonna pass back to Gabs. I just want.
Oh no, you're okay. That was beautiful. Perfect.
You said fixed and mutable. Now I've heard that before, but I don't know what that means.
Okay, so fixed signs are ones that don't really sway one way or the other. They kind of stick to their normal routines, unless they are provoked in some form of like being triggered of some kind. It just depends on how, like, so most signs that are fixed are usually very tolerable to a very high level.
For example, Gabs is a fixed sign. She's a Taurus. Tauruses are fixed earth signs. Yeah.
Yes, and I think is it?
Who are you taking out, Gabs?
I'm trying to think of another sign that's fixed as well.
Scorpio.
Scorpios are also fixed. Yep. And then Leo. I think is it Leo? Yeah, Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Leo and Aquarius. So each element has a fixed sign, and currently we are dealing with a cardinal sign. So you're gonna see cardinal signs are a little bit more of a go-getter. Mm-hmm. They'll go first in front of everybody because they're so excited, and they'll move forward sometimes. It just depends on how your temperament's laid out on your chart. But your soul essence is willing to do it.
Absolutely.
It's willing to go forth. Now, for mutable signs, they're very adaptable to situations, a lot easier than a fixed or a cardinal. A cardinal is more set in their ways of set in the sense of like they'll move forward towards what their ideology is, and they'll go forward with that. Now, fixed signs will stay until they feel that it is the right time to move. And if they get provoked, they will move forward, and it will make them upset because they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is not what I wanted to do. Now, mutable signs, they're more adaptable. So they'll be like, okay, I'll go ahead and do this. I may not like it, but it might be something I might enjoy later. I don't know. We'll see. And that's kind of how they move forward with things. That's why Geminis are very, like, all over the place.
Yep, and it also having an air element accentuates that too. It makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. Same
Now,
thing
how
with
do you know this? Like cardinals and mutable and fixed, are each sign always that? Like, is Cancer always a cardinal sign and
Yes.
Taurus always a mutable? Did you say mutable?
That quality is in that sign, and then same thing with Taurus as well. Each sign has a quality of themselves. So for Cancers, it'd be cardinal. For yeah, here we go. Yeah, for the 4 mutable signs are each element has a form of quality that dictates how they perceive things.
Gotcha. I was just wondering where that was because I've seen it, heard it, but I've never seen it like on anything to
so if you have
where
that
was.
astrology book, it will show you on there too where the masculine energy and the feminine energy and all that stuff too as well.
Okay.
It will kind of show you what element that they're associated with. It will show you what planet it rules. Like, for example, Cancers, which is your sun sign, you are actually ruled by your emotions. So you're ruled by the moon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this is where the fun part happens. When you go to your moon sign, this is where all like if you looked if like an Albert Einstein moment where you're like all the equations are coming together. This is kind of where this all kind of pushes forward on. Now, since Cancers are ruled by the moon, her moon sign happens to be in Pisces. It's still a water sign, but it's a mutable water sign. So she's very adaptable to situations when it comes to her emotions. She doesn't always let people see what's going on unless she is totally 100% comfortable with them, and she has this balanced relationship with them to be able to see what's going on underneath. Now, this is very rare for Pisces who have it in moon because they are very protective of their emotions. They never want to look like they have a weakness. Exactly. So yeah, there's definitely a layer of protection similar to her sun sign, which also happens to have some form of protection as well. Cancers have kind of like a shield already given to them in a sense. Like, so if they don't feel like this is really for them, they will walk around it. They're like, okay, I'm happy I was here. Okay, nice to see you. I'm going to go this way now. And they'll just walk out of it like nothing happened. So that's a really beautiful
TJ, can you relate?
Talking to me, Sweetie?
Yes, I said, can you relate?
Yeah, from the Cancer perspective, definitely. Yeah,
Yes.
the sun. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My Mercury's in Cancer like yours too.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice.
So let's see what else we got going on. Now,
can I add one thing quick, Gabby?
Oh yeah, of course, hon.
Okay, so something else that we'll get to down a later date is also, as far as the modalities goes, it also correlates with the seasons. For example, like you'll have like a mutable sign born that goes into the summer. They all start at different seasons. You'll see that as we go along, and that also is an aspect of a person's character. Let's take a Virgo, for example. Virgos are mutable summer signs, so they embrace always changing, which is clear to their personality, which taps into them always being a perfectionist, because they always look at, even though you think this is perfect, I'm aware that it could be better. That's why, because that speaks to their character and the season that they're born in. So that varies sign to sign based off each element. So that each element that have their own perspective. Or, for example, Scorpio, they're born during Halloween season. They're a fixed kind of dark. That's why they're known for being dark and vengeful. Think about that. Look, what is Halloween known for? Dark scariness. That's why it's ironic that Scorpios are born during Halloween season. Or whatever. So I'm gonna pass back to Gab. I just want to.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I was thinking about pulling something else out. So give me just a second.
Sure. I could keep going forward with the.
Yeah, you're fine.
Pick up where Gabs is. So as far as Moon, Pisces, now let's talk about something that you need to be aware of as far as protecting yourself. So this is this is an interesting situation right here. Your 3 top planets here, Sweet Pea, are
Mm-hmm.
all very. You got to be careful as far as letting people know what you want and what you don't want, because you have 3 water planets back to back. You have a Cancer Sun, a Pisces Moon, and a Mercury in Cancer. Those are 3 planets that are very important as far as your personality. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be. I mean, we briefly spoke yesterday about how you are with how you change or you treat people the way they treat you. So if you're loyal to somebody as a Pisces, for example, and they're not to you, it'll come back in kind of a petty way or whatever. Like you have the inclination to be petty. So I always thought that the way to avoid having to do that is to be out front with people that aren't as like comfortable with emotions, like an Aquarius, a Virgo, Aries. They're not very super comfortable expressing or being around overly emotional people because they think either action based or rational based. So people that, let's say, and we're not speaking in terms of an Aries that have like a Cancer moon. That'll be a different situation. We'll get down to that once everybody thoroughly understands the planet. Right now, I'm speaking in terms of duplicity, where they have a lot of repeating planets. For example, let's say a person has 3 planets in a row in Aries. They're going to be a super Aries, obviously, because they have planets, especially if they have Aries planets in all those places that are impactful of your personality. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Pluto, Venus. If you have fire planets all there, they're not going to be as comfortable with expressing their emotions to Cancers. Cancers are more comfortable with emotions. Other signs won't, like an Aquarius. They're the complete opposite of outwardly emotional people. So for you to have a productive relationship, for example, Sweet Pea, let's say you are uh, friends with an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Mercury. You communicate 2 completely different ways. So it'd be more beneficial for you to express with that Aquarius. Okay, sometimes I need my emotions maybe a little more validated, or say things to me this way. You said it that way, and that hurt my feelings. Being more outwardly like that expects people or gives people the expectation of, okay, maybe I need to handle this person this way, so it won't come to a blow up where you get mad, and to them it look like, oh, why you ain't just tell me, and to you it's like, okay, they're respecting my emotion. So you have that balance now. So I think I always tell them, because Pisces moons are very delicately emotional, and that doesn't make them weak. By no means does it make, because it doesn't. It makes them strong, actually, because they're more comfortable with expressing and being more empathetic towards people and things like. But to other people, it comes off as a weakness. And them, oh, they're too soft, or why they're always whiny. That's because you
Yeah.
process emotions at a much higher propensity than other people. So that's something I think expressing yourself. Anybody with a Pisces moon, and of course, when you check your chart, you'll be able to figure that out. Because you could be an Aquarius, for example, who's not known for being overly emotional, but you have a Cancer moon, you will be more inclined to be emotional because you have a sensitive moon sign in or Cancer for that matter, or Scorpio. My cousin, he's an Aquarius sun with a Scorpio moon. He's very emotionally intense, and he has a lot of water. His Mars is in Cancer. His rising is in Scorpio, so he's very, very alert. He's very like paranoid and jumpy a lot, which is something that's kind of uncommon for Aquarius. They're kind of free spirit, broad thinking. You know what I mean? Not thinking too hard, but those water planets kind of bring them down to reality a little bit. So I think that's something, Sweet Pea, you can express with people that are not necessarily comfortable with them, and that'll help everybody across the board, I think.
Yeah, that you have just put the put it in very broad perspective and not even knowing. But Aquarius sun is what my sister is, and you nailed it. Like it's hard to like explain and express everything. It's different between
Mm-hmm.
her and I. I mean, her moon. I don't know what her moon is right off or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yep, super emotional.
Definitely.
Yeah, and people do look at it as whiny sometimes or like too much,
Mm-hmm.
expression and stuff, but I don't know.
Because you
Like
have a
you said, it
lot of
doesn't.
water, P. You got a lot of water. You got 3 straight planets of water. So
Yes.
that's going to be extreme for some people who might have a
Mhm.
bunch of fire or a lot of air, or they have an air and earth combination. They tend to lead more rationally versus
Yeah.
emotional. Emotions kind of in the back seat for people that are like that. So that's something
Mhm.
that'll help out. Gabs, would you like to come back in?
Yeah,
I
sorry, go
think
ahead.
so. No, you're good. I'm just making sure my son was settled before I
Aw.
Yeah. And we
He's
briefly speaking of Gabby's son, her children are Pisces, so they might, depending on their placements, they need a little more attention from mommy as other, depending on what their
yeah,
placements are. So
they're super cool like that.
luckily they have a Taurus mom who's patient with stuff like that.
Yes, I am very tolerable of a lot of different things that they usually, if they had a different parent, this would be a whole different story.
Yes.
Aw,
They're lovely. I love
My
them.
mom's a
you're a
Gemini,
good mom. You can
and me and
tell it.
my mom are like oil and water. She's a Gemini though, so she
Oh,
don't understand emotions the way I do. Because my mom has a lot of air and fire in her chart. I have a lot of air, fire, and water, so I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. And my mom is just not the most understanding person because she has a Leo moon and she's a Gemini sun. My mom is, and her Mercury's in Gemini,
Leo, man.
so she's, man, she's something else to say the least.
My mom's Leo sun. Yeah, I
Oh
don't know
wow,
what
yeah,
she is.
that's
And my dad was Aries,
my
Aries
father's
sun.
also was an Aries. He's an Aries son.
Wow.
He's 4 planets in Aries. His first 4 to 5 planets are in Aries, so he's a
Wow.
super Aries. But
Oh,
Gemini and
goodness.
Cancer get along a tad bit more than Aries and Gemini does with Cancer. Leos
Yeah,
are kind of sensitive too. They just express it differently, but they
they
can be
do.
sensitive. So I get along with Leos just fine, actually. Yeah.
Ah, that's me
That's
and
so
my mom.
beautiful, Sadie.
That's awesome.
You have a beautiful family.
Sweet, Sadie, Leo. I could tell you're a Leo too. I could just, I can't really give you an exact answer, but I could. Leo's women have a very, uh, uh, almost like a perfect, like the way that like beauty to like they take really good care of their image. They're very image conscious people. So you'll see them; they'll be all fit and strong and smooth with their makeup. They're very very image conscious because they like to be praised a lot. So I don't know if that's what Sadie is, but I know a lot of Leo. That's why they tend
My
to be
mom's that
entertainers
way.
too. A lot of them are performers and entertainers and stuff like that because they're great at it. Or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Would you like to go into the finish up with the moon, or you want to move on to the Mercury, or what do you want to do?
I'm gonna go ahead and finish up with Moon. I'm gonna give a
Sure.
little bit of a light and dark perspective of your Moon being in Pisces. So the bright side of you having a Moon in Pisces is you're more compassionate. You're definitely sensitive, loving, and creative and loyal. That's a beautiful, beautiful combination when it comes to the bright side of things. Now, when you're a little bit uneven, like when you're starting to feel a little bit down in the dumps and you're like done with things, you tend to be a little bit more indecisive emotionally.
Always. I'm
A little
always
bit
that.
get discontented, vague, secretive, and easily confused.
I'm always confused, and I'm always the first one you said. What did you say? Indecisive.
Yeah,
Always.
indecisive. Yeah.
Always.
So indecisive, discontented, vague, secretive, and easily confused. That's the dark side of your moon.
Oh.
Now, having an understanding with that is going to help out a lot because with you having a Cancer sun, you're going to be able to see where the protection walls come up from your actual soul essence as well. Which is it's a beautiful combination because when you are feeling unbalanced in your emotions, your sun sign gives you that extra layer of protection for you to walk away from situations a lot quicker emotionally than you would if you were dealing with it with you just being fully balanced in your sun in your moon sign. You're gonna do everything when you're already balanced. You're gonna do everything that you can to make your partner happy, and make them feel supported and loved. But you also would love to be able to have that back. Like you want to be vulnerable and dependent, and be able to take down those defenses in front of that person that you care about because you're showing them how much you're putting in the effort for them to see that I trust you. And that's a huge thing to look at as well from your emotional standpoint. So that's just something to be aware of. Now, with your Mercury being in Cancer, this is a really cool layer. It kind of shows another side to your sun and your moon a little bit. Mercury is pretty much your way of communication. That's what this planet is made by. If that's why it's kind of named after Hermes. So Hermes was a messenger. Mercury is the way for you to communicate those messages that you're trying to relay to everybody else.
Mhm.
So that's a little fun fact for people.
Yeah,
Now,
interesting.
when since you're Cancer and Mercury, you're going to be a lot more sensitive to what others think about you. Almost like you have a sixth sense intuition, and you're able to pick up the signals around you about how people are feeling, which can be a good thing, and sometimes it feels like a curse. You're just like, damn it, I did not want to feel that today.
Yes. You're right on it. Yep. That's kind
Now,
of not so great sometimes. It's like, oh,
yeah,
I don't want to be here. I know how they feel. Nope. Okay, gotta go.
it's like, no, I don't want to deal with this. Why?
Yes.
Why do I know?
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean that you're clingy or possessive to any of your own ideas when it comes to communication. You're really willing to adapt yourself to pretty much anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had, let's say, a Leo, for example, and they're very vibrant and they're wanting to be the center of attention, then you would let them do that. But you'd be the supporting role in a way, just because you can feel the energy off of them. You're like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, okay, I get it. You want to do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So with you being so gifted in that category, people are going to see you as sometimes a little bit narrow-minded. And that's not because you are. It's just because of your psychic sixth sensibility to know how people are. You're tuned in to whoever the frequency is on when you're dealing with a group of people. So whoever's energy is the highest and you feel like they need to be the center of attention, you're going to be the one shutting everybody else down. And you're going to be like, hey, I think this person has something to say. Can we just let them do that? That'd be great. Thanks. And then they feel it. They're like, oh, okay, that person apparently needs to say something. Let's have this conversation. And that's kind of how you communicate and operate. You try to adapt around each other and anybody around you. You're really good at making money in communication because you're mostly a person who's really good at finagling how things are supposed to go. You're good at budgeting, finances, but you have sometimes the thing about this sign in particular is sometimes they may have a phobia to flying.
Yes.
I definitely have a phobia of flying. I can tell you that for certainty.
I do not fly. I have never flown and I don't plan to. Ever. If I can help it.
Because you already feel like you're drowning, so flying would just be another total no.
I just don't want the door to shut and I can't get out.
The turbulence scared the hell out of me on planes. I can say that.
Oh gosh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Me having a Pisces rising doesn't help though. Because I'm already kind of like sensitive to like tragedy as it is. You know what I mean? So that doesn't help. So.
Oh.
Sorry, hold on, guys.
You good, Gabs?
You're good.
My computer's acting like a wackadoodle for a second.
So Pisces rising has that what you just said. You have a fear of what was it?
This is for Mercury. Mercury.
I know, but TJ was saying I was letting you have a minute. I'm sorry. I don't mean to confuse you. He was talking about how Pisces rising has what was it? A fear of?
Oh, it's not necessarily a correlation that's associated with. I'm just saying, I'm naturally sensitive to negative energy. Like I can walk in a room because I'm a Cancer and I have a rises in Pisces, so that makes me extra intense. Like I pick up on. That's why I can't be. I have to have mandatory alone time every day so I can decompress because I take on people's emotions very easily, and I can be heavy.
He'll put his shield up in front of them to get through the day. Yep. And then he'll be like, okay, Cancer overload.
So I have to decompress to get myself together.
Oh, wow. I should. I don't, but I should.
Everybody should. I honestly think everybody should have a mandatory at least 1 hour alone time every single day.
I'm not one that likes to be by themselves. I like to be around
It
people all
could
the
be
time.
other aspects in your chart that, like, because I'm
Yeah,
looking here, you have a Venus in Gemini. That could have something to do with that.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
since
once we
Venus
get
is very is about love and stuff too.
hmm
You're always wanting to have like a very intelligence report with somebody that you're with before you start to show them your affection.
hmm
You want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row so you can adapt to what they need. This is how you love, but this is also how you want to receive love too. Um, but you have a wide range of interests. It can be traveling, literature, music, seeing different places, meeting new people. You want a lover that's kind of similar to that, so that they can understand where you stand with how you
Yeah.
want to be treated and respected in the sense of love.
Gemini's value versatility. So
Yes.
they like versatility and, change. They can't stand routine. They don't like routine. So they tend to date fire signs and air signs a little better.
Hmm.
That's a great
Wow.
placement for a Cancer too, because that opens you up a little bit. That opens you up to having a little more fun in relationships with having a Gemini.
Yeah, it makes you a little bit more carefree,
Mhm.
having a free hand for spending a little bit more cash, or just being
Yeah.
able to lavish them as well as much as lavish yourself when you're needing a little bit of self love.
Mhm.
Okay.
I love Venus. It's amazing. I love how you can see the duality with the person that you're with
Mhm.
and the person that you are trying to love inside yourself.
Gabs, you're ruled by Venus, right? You're a Taurus. Taurus and Libras are ruled by Venus.
I know I'm ruled by it, but I don't feel like I have like 100% connection to it because the way my chart is, I'll have to show off my chart eventually one day.
Yours is an
Yeah.
Aries, right? Isn't your Venus in Aries?
Yes.
Okay, that could have
So
something.
like that's the most like when
Important.
I'm not really feeling 100%, I turn into like me, want, desire. Fuck. Like
That's definitely an Aries thing. That's
yeah,
definitely an Aries
The
thing.
fire
that's
and
when you know my
stuff.
love tank is empty. Like I start
Aw.
acting like a really annoying cat.
Oh, man.
Like I purr. Hi, how's it going? I want to love me.
Does
I'm
your
not
husband
gonna
does
annoy you.
your husband pick up on that? Does that
He does.
translate with
He
him?
he
Yeah.
he calls
Aw.
me like he says I'm like a cat. He's like I don't know why we have a dog if you are acting like a cat.
Oh, that's
Mm.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
it's quite funny. But yeah,
Cute.
that's when you are like on the negative effect of love and Venus as Aries. You'll see that immaturity. You're like, damn, like this is not good.
I
Abort
can
mission.
some, I can somewhat relate to that, Gabs. I have a fire sign Venus too. Mine's in Leo, so I get it.
Yeah, Leos are a little bit more loud about it. Like
Yep.
they'll make
Dramatic.
their words known. That's
Mm-hmm.
the interesting part about Leos. They're very courageous and bold,
Mm-hmm.
and they're willing to take the risk and move forward and be like, this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're in Aries, you're always like, I'm showing you what I need. I'm showing you what I need, but you're not looking at all the signs I'm throwing up
Yep.
at you. Fuck. Like,
Yep.
help me help you.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that's hard with Aries is in communicating with them is because they don't like to be helped sometimes. So how I know you're supposed to want what you want if you don't tell me? You know what I mean? Like they take pride
That's it
in
though.
being
We just expect you to understand us because we've been here for so long.
okay.
Like if we've been in a relationship for this long, you should already know my tell signs. Like fuck. Like come on, man.
That'll be
Work
tough
with
for
me.
me. That'll be
Oh
very
man.
tough for that too. I guess I'm a more direct person. You got to tell me what you want. You know what I mean? I'm very direct. Yeah.
Yeah, you have like this magnetism when you're very comfortable with a person. You're gonna like show them all your warm feelings and all the attractions, and you're just like, oh, this is exactly what you need, or this is exactly what I would want too.
I've
Here.
had to learn to tone that down a little bit because, for example, let's go back to the moon and Pisces, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very similar in how moons with my Venus being in Leo, because Pisces and Leos have a lot more in common than people think, and I have a tendency to love too hard, too soon. And I had, well, in my younger years, not so much in my late 20s, or I would say my teens, early 20s, not so much now because I've just matured a lot more. But we have this tendency to want to give people love too early, and that can be a turnoff to certain people. So you have to use proper discretion with that. That's something I've learned that's a Leo Venus thing to do.
Well, the funny thing is, Geminis are pretty similar.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They act like there's like that love that they have for that person's like an anchor on their neck. Like it's never going away. Unless they
Gemini would have been like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. They're intensely heavily emotionally committed.
Wow.
Like it's literally the backdrop of why they are the way they are. Like you can't not love me. Like I love you. Like don't you see the love that I have for you?
I must have met some bad Geminis because I've never met a Gemini like that.
When you have an unbalanced Gemini, like so they can go from that perspective, or they could go down to like, I don't give a fuck about you. You can go. You're like my play toy right now. I can just like play with you until I'm done.
Okay.
That sounds like more like a Gemini right there. But okay,
Caught
like
him on a bad day.
Yes.
You said imbalanced though, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you are dealing with the like an imbalancement of how, like, so let's say for example, there's been a transition. Hold on, Haven. 1 second. Just stay right there. Let's say there's a transition with the planets right now.
Mm-hmm.
Every single cycle ends and falls, connects with different conjunctions, trines, sextiles, you name it. There's a bunch of plethora of like little names on there. When certain aspects of that happen, you're going to see which parts you might need to take care of.
Gotcha.
That's the joy of having your natal chart in front of you, because you can see what's going on from the day you came into the world. This is your true essence. It's always been your true essence. Nothing has really changed except for the cycles that are happening around the planets. Like everything moves around, ends and starts and begins again. It has its own little ecosystem, if you will.
Like for instance, what? Like for instance, like
actually,
what do you mean?
I'll speak about myself because it's a little easier.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know what's going on for like let's say here for here we go, transition list. Like right now
like
for
the Mercury in retrograde, does that have something to do with your Mercury? Like
so every planet will have a retrograde each year.
So how do you know when it's in whatever? Do you have to look it up, I guess? Yeah,
most astrologists or people who are more functioned towards how the stars operate and mapping, they are really good at being able to gauge it through what we have through the satellites, the telescopes that we are currently using. Like they're just able to mathematically lay that out for you. The Time Nomad app really does do that to a T.
I have to get that. Yeah.
Especially if you have an Apple phone, it's a really good intermediate dive in. It also has this really cool thing when you tap on one of the things, it gives you the information of what each thing means, what it actually is doing, why is it doing what it's doing. It's really beautiful. I love how they like lay it down for you, almost like Barney style, but it's layers. You have to like get through it to kind of find the answers, but once you get everything kind of understanding in the app, it's like, oh my gosh, why did I not have this before?
Either people are gonna like being around you or hate being around you once you get all that stuff mastered, basically.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Especially when I have the information, I kind of already like, I feel like it's like a download almost. Like it already like gives me so much information. I don't even have to look at the app anymore for the most part, because I've gotten really understanding for each aspect from what I've learned. And if I don't understand it to a degree that the client or the person that I'm trying to express what I see from them, from the point of view that I'm seeing in their chart, it almost brings them to tears, because they're just like, that's me. Nobody else knew this about me. how did I not know this when I was a kid?
Right. Yeah.
Because most kids, when they're going through those transitional phases, they instantly think they have to convert or conform to whatever everybody else in society really is pointing them towards.
Let me add to what I'm sorry, let me add
no, you're good.
This is interesting. This is something I learned about astrology from this YouTube guy. I didn't realize, to add to what you just said, which is very interesting. It's also each sign are broken into thirds based off the cycle of life. In other words, certain signs where they react to retrogrades and disadvantages and things like that are based off what third they were born in. And what I mean by that is, if you're I think it's between it's between 3 and 4 signs. They're broken up into groups of 3, where if you're born on the infant side, like Aries, Gemini, I think Taurus. Yeah, I think Aries, Gemini, and Taurus are the infant signs. And then you have the teenagers from Cancer all the way up to, I want to say either Virgo or Libra. They're the teenage signs. And then the last 3 or 4 after that, they're in the adulthood. So they understand these transitions from that particular perspective. So let's go in the middle where the teenagers are, for example. So let's say you're let's say Cancer, since we're talking about you, Pete. So certain stuff you will process like a teenager processes emotions during that particular retrograde. So change will be like, 1 minute you'll be happy, next minute you'll be sad, then you'll be excited, like how a teenager is. When you have a teenager, you have a bunch of emotions that you can't process, so you act out in that specific way. So astrology works that same way, as I've learned. So that's why they say Capricorns, or like an Aquarius or Pisces, for example, because they're the last zodiac sign. That's why Pisces are associated with wisdom. Because one thing a lot of people don't understand, Pisces have the unique ability, at the exception of other signs, that they can, and also it's because they're a mutable sign, they can go through phases where they kind of where they play out other signs, or they kind of act like other signs do, because they learned from the mistakes of all the 11 signs prior. So Pisces are able to inhabit all 12 zodiac signs. That's what the wisdom label comes from. Pisces. That's what they come. They're wise because they're at different parts of their life. They're all those signs at one point or another, because they shift. So yeah, that was something that was interesting, that they got those 3: infantile, teenage, adult, and certain signs that fall under that category, which is why they react to certain different shifts in the sky and all that differently. Like Capricorn is associated with old age and retirement, which is why they tend to be a little more pessimistic, because that's something that comes with age. You've seen a lot, so you become cynical. That's why that's the stereotype associated with Capricorns, because they're born during the time of retirement, because they're all the way towards the end of the astrology. They're like the 10th or 11th sign. So that's why they're associated.
That's really neat.
Really, yeah, now on point with that, or was that?
You're pretty much on point with that. I like how you went through all that. That actually gives a good layer of it. Another thing to think about it from this perspective is to think of it from, like, every sign has a weakness, and that usually is the form of that teenage energy.
Okay.
Now, that's the immaturity. That's the level of, like, what pretty much, even in tarot, they kind of have a card for that too, for each element as well. So, like, your page or your princess in your tarot cards is going to be that teenage, immature energy. The weaknesses for each particular sign of that element. Now, to think of it from that perspective, you're going to see when you're unbalanced, that teenage energy or that weak spot is going to fester more. It's going to be a little bit more out in the open. It's going to make people kind of like, oh, what's up with her? Why are they like that right now? And kind of just like, are you okay? Do you need help? Like, but not really. That's not really what you need. That you need them to hear you. Mm-hmm. You need them to listen to what's going on in the inside. You're not acting out because you're trying to be immature and irresponsible. It just happens to be the energy that comes off from being a teenager. like with let's say with Aries, for example,
Mm-hmm.
that whole I need, that's that teenage energy from that sign. Similar with Leos. Leos get very dramatic and like extra on how they want to be perceived right then and there. Like my son, he will throw temper tantrums. He's a Leo moon. So he'll throw temper tantrums to a higher level of extreme because he feels like he's not being heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar. And even when you have your own kids, or if you happen to work with children, and this is why I want to do a school, dude. This is why. Me and TJ have been talking about this. This is like there's this little extra layer when they're as a child, you can actually see this progressionally happen throughout their whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool.
And to add, I'm sorry, real quick, Gab.
No,
To
go
add
ahead.
what you said, this is why we even well, I can speak for myself. This is why I'm interested in astrology, because some people look at astrology that aren't very educated on it, or that don't even want to be educated on, or that's mumbo jumbo nonsense. Like, the reason you need to understand this is because it helps better your relationships across the board with anybody you interact. For example, I think teachers will have a much better relationship with students, because I don't think I'm the type of person, and I am an ex-teacher. I used to work at a private school. I was a key holder of a school. I worked from with babies all the way up to 12th graders, and I was one of the few teachers that never broke. I never was able to, like, I had special needs students jumping off the walls, and I had female teachers crying, coming to me, "Can you take this kid?" Next thing I know, I got them quiet, because I understand people individually, and that's what any teacher is skilled at. You have to understand your students, or any manager. You have to understand the way you talk to this person with this tone not going to work with that person. So you might have to adjust. It's called being diplomatic. You have to understand what everybody uniqueness is, and you teach them better based off that. And you have a more participating student when they understand that you know them, or that you're interested and you have a keen in learning about them. The reason children in general are not interested in some teachers, because a child, we don't give them enough credit. A child know when somebody don't like them. They can feel when you don't. The way you act, the way you look at them, the way you the tone, they pick up. They're telepathic too. They might not be able to express it verbally because they're not that developed yet, but they can kind of, you know how you bring your child, for example, around someone and they always cry or run away from them? That's a clear sign that they don't have a connection with that person. So I think teachers would be much better if they understood that, for example, what Gabby just said about her son being Pisces sun, Leo moon, or just specifically a Leo moon. Like, you have to understand these things.
Exactly. And this is really good for anybody who's trying to learn about themselves too. When you look at those specifics right there, just even knowing your sun and your moon sign, you're going to see how you emotionally act towards certain things. Yep. Even she knows. My daughter.
I didn't know anybody was in there. Your baby's in there with you? I didn't know
just one of them. Just one of them. Yeah. She's showing off her Leo moon tonight as well.
Is that the Virgo moon daughter?
Nope, this is the other Leo moon. I have two kids that were born about. Yes, you were born first. She was born in 2015, and her moon was on a Leo.
Oh, wow.
She was born March 5th, 2015. And then, yeah, they weren't ready yet. No, that's right. And so then my middle child, she's another girl. She was born on February 23rd, 2017, and her moon happened to fall on a Virgo.
Okay.
Now my son, 2 years later, 2019, February 19th, he happened to be born when the moon transitioned back into Leo.
I see.
So I literally have two Pisces suns with two Leo moons, and they're my loudest and proudest when it comes to their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Another cool fact about learning all this: when you were being formed or created in your mother's womb during your conception, whatever they were going through, you're going to see the progression of what they've learned and what they were still working on in your chart.
Wow.
As like, this is just from me playing around with my kids' charts. I noticed where there was during my pregnancy with her, I had huge anxiety issues from just my job, things going on around me that weren't really working out. And I was in the military at the time too, so that's just a whole another level of crazy town. But like you see it in her chart where the houses are set in certain areas and what zodiac sign happens to be there for that. It's really interesting how she actually has more anxiety and she gets nervous when certain things aren't balanced. Like she needs a routine. She needs certain things that my other kids, like let's say my Virgo moon daughter, at that time I was actually healing a lot better from all that crap. So she has a little bit more of a pick and choose on when she feels separation anxiety.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Now my son, who's only 2 years old, but his Leo moon, you can tell when he starts to express himself in that way. He's never really understood what anxiety feels like because I've been here his whole life. So when I even take an hour out of my day to go hang out by myself or go to a supermarket without him, he literally instantly, that's when his triggers start to occur because he doesn't feel included.
Right.
During his pregnancy, I felt separated from a lot of different things because I was pregnant. So my energetic expression throughout his entire pregnancy felt that way. I felt done. I just was like done with everything, done with how things were going in my life. And I was just like, I want to change. I want to change now. And that's literally how he has progressively shown his little butt every once in a while. You see where he wants change.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting. That's something that if you do have kids and you happen to go through their charts, look at your husband's or your spouse's or your wife's, depending on what level of intimacy you have chosen to use, and you'll see it. You'll see the progressional level from your spouse and yourself, and then you look at your charts and you'll see where your parents fucked up during their pregnancies. You'll see it.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh my God, they were going through a lot. Oh my gosh. Like, you'll see it right there. Or you'll be like, oh, they were actually doing okay. That's great.
How would you know that?
Really cool kid.
Like, what part makes you look at that? I'm sorry. What part makes you look at something, like what sign would make you think, oh, they messed up or they're going through something like anxiety or
mostly when
whatever?
They have a mutable. If you see a mutable sign, because that means that they were still trying to figure out how things were supposed to work. And they were trying to adapt to it, didn't really adapt really well. Depends on what house they've been popped in when you came out. And then also look at your fixed signs, because that usually means also there may be something that you're just very stubborn in, because any fixed sign has a stubborn streak. They do.
Yes.
Cardinal signs, they're a little bit more lenient. You can get away with a little bit more because there's like that little extra cushion in between your craziness.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to fixed signs, you get what you get. They're there. They're not going to move unless they 100%. It's that stubborn, like, even though, like, this is coming from a bull perspective, but
yeah.
You can see it definitely in fixed signs. Most fixed signs, they will not change.
The element,
a good reason to change.
Their element also is very indicative. The water and earth elements tend to be a little more stubborn. Hence, Scorpio and Taurus are the super stubborn. Both of them are in different ways, but they're super duper stubborn. Yeah.
One's more stubborn in emotions. The other one's more stubborn in how their energy moves and how they want to function.
Yeah. Scheduling and practicality. Taurus is
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna go over fire too. Like for fire fixed signs, you're gonna see a little bit more of there's stipulations to how they push towards their ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
So you're definitely gonna see where when the rubber meets the road, they may not be reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Fire-wise, like if you have a fire sign that's fixed,
Leo,
you're gonna see there's a little bit of inconsistency with them being reliable. Now it's a little bit different with Tauruses as an earth sign, because you're more looking at the potential of them may or may not moving from their grounded position, because they're more like a pivoter. They'll pivot. They won't move that foot unless they feel 100% comfortable in the environment that they're choosing to use. Haven knows definitely. She's seen me in pivot mode. I will not move from my spot.
Yeah, I've known a lot of Tauruses.
Yeah.
I have a code for that, don't I?
I also try to look
friends
at
Taurus.
people's different perspectives. Now, this is something interesting that I want to mention because I've been looking at this on the chart for a while. P, you have a lot of Virgo in your chart, which can that's actually a leg up for a Cancer on a plus side, especially with that Mars and your Saturn being in because those two signs determine how action driven you are and how your goals are. With you having both of those in Virgo, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, you like stuff to be done very specifically, like almost to a T.
Very, 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 very.
She has a
specifically.
system to the madness.
I do.
Yep. You're
I
very
do.
methodical, aren't you?
Yes, and
Yep.
people don't like to I ask for help, but then I don't want the help because I got to redo it. I'm not
Yeah.
picky about it.
That's
like
a
a
very
specific way to
Mhm.
get it done.
That's a very Virgo type thing. See, I
That
liken things to. It's not, it's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily
No,
a bad
it's
thing.
great.
You have
To
be
me, it
aware.
doesn't seem so great, but yeah.
Well, the thing is, you have to be aware with when you're going too far with something being too perfect. That's where the
Yes.
awareness comes in. But you also have to think about the plus side of being very methodical, meaning stuff that's going to be done as great as possible. You know what I mean? That translates
Yeah.
a lot of ways with cooking, with being crafty and building things. Virgos,
Yeah.
that's why Virgos are very, very give them tasks that are very detail oriented and they'll get it done the best of their ability. Like welding,
Yeah.
accounting work, anything will make it rest. They're good chemists. They know how to cook things really good. Everything that have to be that's indicative of making things are kind of precise. Like any type of craftsman work, Virgos
I
excel at. They're really good at stuff like that. So
The
I
only
love
thing you have to look out for when you have it in a Virgo in Mars, though, is that they're going to have, when you're putting a plan together, you have to be aware that you may be bogged down by every single detail.
yes,
Yes.
that is true. They're
Unfortunately, that is like a huge stickler to being particular.
Yep.
Yes.
You have to. They got it because I have a friend. She lives up in Detroit. She's her chart actually looks very similar to yours, Sweet Pea. She's a
Really?
Cancer Sun, a Pisces Moon, and her Mars is in Virgo. It looks very similar.
Oh, cool.
Her Venus might be in Cancer or Pisces. That's the only difference, but it's very similar. An entertainer who I'm a big fan of, Bobby Lashley chart looked like yours too. He's the current WWE champion. His son, and I'm pretty cool with him, but his sun is in the Cancer, his moon is in Pisces, and his Mars is in Virgo. If you saw the way he looked, the way his body is chiseled, that Mars Virgo makes perfect. He don't have an inch of fat on his body, which shows you how serious he takes his diet. Like, there's no fat anywhere on his body or whatever. So that's something that you want to kind of work on with that Mars and Virgo, like not getting bought. And then this is what help having friends or asking them other people's advice. Am I looking at this too hard? That's where other people's advice come in.
Yes.
Now, obviously, it's going to be friends that kind of blow off that don't care at all. You don't want those type of friends that say everything's okay all the time. That means they're being dishonest. You want people that will say you're thinking too hard. That's the friend.
I have two best friends that are one is that way you're talking about, and the other one will tell me, "No, you're going too far. You're going too
That's
far."
a good balance to have. That's a really good balance to have. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, she has quite a bit of Virgo, but that's a good placement for
And
Cancer.
I have-
It kicks you out of your moods.
And my other half is a Virgo sun,
Oh, is he?
but he's not like a Virgo at all.
He's
not
probably
like
more on a cusp.
not organized, not like what I do. Y'all are talking
He
about.
could have a lot of air in his chart. He might have a lot of air and
Yes.
fire in his chart.
Was he born later in the month or the beginning of the month?
Beginning.
Beginning. So is he like at the
9/9.
9? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
My brother was born 9/11, or well 9/8
Oh,
technically
really?
9/8. So he was like a couple days before 9/11,
Yeah.
the
one day
actual
before
event
it.
of 9/11. So he's very particular on who he tells his emotions to. Like,
Now that makes sense. He's
yeah,
very, very to himself, like private, not one that, lets a whole lot of people in his bubble.
yeah.
He doesn't
One
The
trust
fact
a
that he
lot of
married you means he trusts you a lot.
Two things
Yeah.
I've noticed about Virgos that will explain perfectly what both of you were just saying. Two things about Virgos. Virgos, either don't want to speak because they don't want to come off as too naggy. That's one thing. Or the second reason is they unsure on what they want to say. They like to be absolutely certain because they like to be right a lot. So if they're wrong, that rattles around in their head that I can play. They don't take losses very. If you want to see a Virgo at their worst, see them lose something. That's the worst
Yes.
part of a Virgo.
Especially family.
Yes.
If they lose a family member or somebody they care about dearly, friendship-wise, it literally tears them apart. They don't know how to function.
I think that's why he doesn't let too many people in.
Yep.
Yeah.
He don't want the attachment.
And this goes with animals too. Like if they put an animal in their life, it's very similar expression too.
I actually think Virgos like animals more than people. That's always been my philosophy.
They do actually. It's just it's better to have a human than an actual animal because they only feel like they're talking to themselves.
Right. And animals are also more willing to do what you tell them to do. Two people aren't. So that also could be part of it. Virgos are very very controlling in a very like kind of behind the scenes type of way. They control without making it seem like they are. They're very. I've dated a lot of Virgos.
Patterns, routines, acts of service. They tend to be more on the health conscious side of things. That's a very balanced Virgo. Now, if they're not balanced, they're kind of like pick and choose on when they want to be healthy or when they want to eat junk food. It just depends on like what level of emotional extraness is going on the inside. That kind of pushes that forward.
Absolutely. I like in Virgos to Clay.
Yes, people do
eat junk like an actual analogy. Clay is a great analogy to Virgos because Virgos like to mold their own reality. Not that they're always wrong, but they're such perfectionists that's why they get stuck in doing little projects on the side, or like to take, it could be a person, it could be an animal. They like to take on things as projects because they want to mold it to what they are, because they're a mutable earth sign. So with being a mutable earth sign, they like to work, they kind of like craft their own reality. That's why I like them to Clay. They're very Clay-like people.
Yeah, they're very creative. And the thing is, with her being a Cancer as well, Cancers are very creative and imaginative.
He's not very creative. He kind of is. I mean, his own thing.
Either, though.
Yeah, he likes certain things, I guess.
Exactly.
His own way.
The pattern, the routine.
When you look at his chart, you'll have a better understanding of why. You just have to look at his chart. That's all.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, and I don't know why I didn't think to even.
No, it's okay. It just popped up when we were thinking about it. I'm like, oh, that's
time. We'll be doing this for a while, so you'll have time. If he's comfortable with people knowing this chart, we'll bring it up at some point.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Gabs, anywhere else in the chart that you want to focus on or continue with here?
I think I'm gonna go towards.
You mentioned with Lilith yesterday. I just want to bring that up.
Oh yeah.
What is? I've heard so many people. I know you're going somewhere. I don't know if that's where you're headed, but I've heard many people talk about this Lilith, and I would really like to know.
Okay, there are 4 different Liliths in astrology. There's an asteroid. There's the dark side of the moon, the black moon Lilith. Yes. And that's mostly just your back end psyche of what's going on with like your sensual fantasy on how you want things to function. Now, they also have one that's just Lilith, just has Lilith as just what it's called. So it's called like your Black Lilith. And then, there's one other one, I just can't remember the name, but I think it's the asteroid itself. Okay. Now, the cool thing about Lilith, it's the rebellious side of your darkest level of either intimacy or sensuality. When fueled by other different things, like if you see Aries or Eris in your chart, that's like your extra like conscious level of rebellion. because it's linked to your moon and your Lilith. So you're going to see a little bit more what you're more passionate about. Everybody's Eris's is in, I think it's in Aries right now. Yeah, it's in Aries. You're going to have that until like 2044. So it's going to be there for a long time. But the houses are cycled through depending on what time you've been born. Now, Lilith, with it being the dark side of the moon, or the dark side of your psyche, it's kind of this untamed beast. It's independent, it's strong, encourageable, sensual energy. And this goes with every single Lilith that is technically being used in astrology. They all have a form of either rebellion or a form of revolutionizing or evolution. They all have some form of transcending from one aspect to another. And whatever they're put with, like if they're in a conjunction with something or trined with something, you're going to see what things are being brought up from your dark side of yourself. So like, let's say, for example, that your communication or your Mercury, for example, is linked with your Lilith at that very moment, like in conjunction with your Lilith. Then you know that your dark fantasies are basically ready to be communicating. They're in unison with each other to start something. They want things done. And whatever that like dark desire may be at that time is what you want done, and you want it done immediately.
That sounds
now,
like all the time. I want it done, and I want it done right now.
Now, don't get that confused with the immaturity or the weaknesses that are currently residing with your Mercury or with your, because Lilith is its own like essence. It does not really can't transform itself from it being a rebellious stage. It just continually grows as it gets conjunct or linked in with other things. So let's say, for example, if it was trined with something, which trine is like the triangle sign that pops up usually in here. So let's say it's trined with, let's go with Mars. So if it was trined with your Mars, you would, whatever is going on with what you're trying to push towards, like what you're driven to do, like if your ambition level is like on an all-time low normally, you're going to be on an all-time high. Like you're going to want to get things done that nobody else really thought that was important at the time. And you're just like, but this is, and we're going to do it this way. Because you're in Virgo, you're going to be meticulous on how you want that done. That list is going to look like a mile long, but we can condense it in a couple months. I guarantee it. Like this can happen.
Like me right now.
So
right
now with your Lilith though comes consequences to the actions that you choose, because it is such the back end of the spectrum. So like here, your Lilith, it happens to be a Libra. So you're going to be a very diplomatic person already. Mm-hmm. With your dark fantasies, you're going to know exactly how fair-minded you have to be to get what you want. You're going to know exactly how to maneuver yourself around the people that you think may or may not be able to conclude what that dark fantasy may be. Yeah. It's with the relationship that happens to form. So like, for example, we'll put it in the sense of it being trined again. So if it was trined and you have somebody who happens to be a middleman in this particular situation, then that energy there is going to fester until somebody happens to be that middle person to kind of like, hey, we can end this conflict now. All I need is this. Mm-hmm. So we'll put it with, let's say, if you had it trined with your communications again, for example, if you had somebody, an outside person who was not a part of your world, like just like a random person on the street you happen to talk into with a cafe or whatever, if you were in a bar or something having a conversation, this particular trine was happening, that communication you're having with that person is going to help you somehow alleviate the pressure and end the conflict of what your dark desire needs and wants. It's just it's an integrated part of what trine has to represent. It's a power of 3. So you have 2 sides to every story. Of course, you'll have you and you'll have the other person. But when it comes to whatever planet it's entwined with, you're going to see where it escalates or when it decreases. And having that middle person or that energy right there in the middle to kind of alleviate the pressure, you're going to see what needs to be rebalanced because you're a Libra. You're going to be like, okay, that needs to happen right here, and then I can get what I need.
Okay.
It's not, you're not being manipulative. You're just needing that fix like immediately. And the only way you know how to do it with it being in a Libra is to make sure everybody's happy so I can get what I need.
Right.
Satisfaction guaranteed. If everybody's okay, I can be a diplomat today. I can go and be a politician right now and we can get this all done.
Yeah.
Sign the dotted line. Let's get this over with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, you can drink that. Go ahead.
You actually got a couple. You got a Pluto in Libra too. That correlates with Lilith a bit.
So she has very balanced fantasies.
Yeah, that's great.
It's not too high. It's not too low. If she's not feeling 100% though, that immaturity level, it will go from being eccentric fantasies to being very manic. Just depends on the level of fantasy that she's operating in her desires.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a conscious desire, it may not look as hectic, but inside of herself, she's going to feel very unbalanced. Now, if she feels like everybody's on board, because this involves your sun sign too, because like eventually, because Cancers are usually considered to be like the emos of the zodiac signs, they kind of need time to enjoy what they're getting inside of them as well as what's coming out.
Right.
So it takes like a little bit of like pressure cooking time for you to kind of fully understand what exactly I need, what exactly I want. And with you having a Libra though in your Pluto, this is really easy because you're like, okay, if I mentally prepare myself for this particular fantasy that I actually need to happen like around such and such time, okay, I can get that done. I can help my family. My family can be a part of this. We can all have this really cool support team, and we can all get done what we need to have handled right now.
Gabby, what you just said makes perfect sense because, oh man, I got so much water in my chart. My Pluto is in Scorpio. So that's why that explains why I'm in my head sometimes about certain stuff. But writing really helps
and
a lot.
Scorpios are emotional.
Yep.
They're extra emotional.
Absolutely.
Because they don't have that layer of protection. It's more of just a stinger.
Yep.
So that's all they do is attack, attack, attack.
Yep.
If they're feeling unbalanced.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Look, I think that's part of me. I've kind of pretty much all but exercised out of. I've evolved past that portion of the Pluto Scorpio. Now
I will be right back, guys. I'm gonna
sure.
go to bed.
Okay, cool. That'll work out. I can hold it down till you get back. Yeah. So let's get this chart down and back up because it's becoming pixelated, and I don't want you fellas or women to feel like you can't see it. Oh, Gab, did I accidentally make the thing private? For some reason, Gab's okay. It's supposed to be private on her end. Okay, so I'm gonna slow down for a minute. Allow everybody to just kind of ask questions about whatever. Gabby's put a lot on us today, which is good. It's not a bad thing. But this is why going forward, this is going to be a multi-series. You know, we might switch. We can't get P on Friday, so this was a special thing. So P might hang out with us in the comment section because Fridays doesn't work with her. And that was the second day me and Gabby we agreed that we'll do 2 days of this if everybody wanted. Obviously, people want it. So we will add a second day. So we want to use P was very Leslie, Sweet P, was very gracious in allowing us to use her chart as a kind of a test. Next time, maybe I'll let people do mine. I don't mind putting mine up. So Wednesdays is usually when we'll be doing this. Wednesday, 6:30 Central Time, we'll be doing this. And then we might add a Friday starting next week. I got to see what my schedule's looking like. Gabby went into a lot of the detail. Like, I know a lot of the surface level of everything. I know all the specific, like, I know, like, I'll give you an example in a minute. Car hunger. There has been an excess of charge in my life over the last few years. I've been kind of looking at various ways to understand me. Well, first thing we need to do, Car Hunger Creative, we need to get your chart. You need to understand your chart first. And if you're not comfortable putting it up yet, you at least need to understand it first. I can't really give you any perspective because I don't know any specifics about what your chart or your situation is. I used to be into the zodiac sign thing, but walked away from this. So it's nice to be back to understand. Thank you. Yeah, well, you're in the right place. Gabby she hold it down. Gabby hold it down. I'm just
You
more here to
too.
fill in the
Y'all
gap.
both are a really good combination on the subject.
Yeah.
I know y'all would be great at this whenever I was like, hey, I know who would be the perfect people to explain this to you.
Absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Mhm.
Everybody has a chart. You go on cafeastrology.com
Mhm.
and type in your date of birth and where you're where you were born at, what city, and then the
Your
time
time.
of birth.
Mhm.
And then it'll give you a free one and it reads it
Yeah.
out to you. All of the same stuff that you see on the screen, it's on there. It'll give you yours and then it'll explain it.
Or if you want a report and you want a deeper understanding, like a recording, I do have that service under my website as well. If
Mhm.
you're wanting a little bit more of things so you don't have to do it yourself and you don't
Right,
have to feel
basically.
confused,
Yeah.
I do have a way of that I do reports, and you get the houses, what they all mean, each particular planet that you happen to be under for that particular sign that's in it. And then I kind of give you even your extras, like your vertex and your Chiron and even your Lilith. I go through the little ones that I have on my app that I use, and that kind of gives. Yeah, I'm just. This is just a service that if you would like it, it's there. I happen to do things a little differently than most people. What I have on my site is just basically just face value. If you really do want one and you do not have the funds at the time and you're willing to just pay it forward to somebody else eventually, I will do it for you for free. I don't have a problem with doing that. Or if you could just do a donation. It works either way. It's an energy exchange that I'm willing to give to people because I really do want you guys to know yourselves. I want you guys to be comfortable with yourselves because as we grow up and we have dealt with everybody else's ideologies and brainwashing and all that jazz, like we just don't really fully understand ourselves anymore once we hit adulthood or once we go into it, getting married or getting into relationships or even starting your own entrepreneurial positions. You don't really know what your purpose is because you don't really know yourself. Or you think that you don't really know yourself because you've been layered with so many different illusional ideologies that have materialized on yourself energetically. So with you understanding yourself with this is a really good way to see your soul at its highest value. So I have this one here. This is just a website you can kind of look at like what I have to offer. And then if you want to just book things without having to pay right away or to do a donation right away, I have a Facebook page one as well. You can just look in there, book a reading, and we can go from there. I will send you a Zoom link. Everything's private. You don't have anybody else in the room. It's just me and you, and we go over what I sent to you via email. And that's kind of, you just give a private email to me about your birth date, your birthplace that you were born in, the time that you were born in. Most of you guys can find your times on your birth certificates, especially ones that were born a little bit later in the game, like in the 1990s and below. You'll definitely have a timestamp on your stuff. I do know that for a fact. Here we go. There's that one. And then here is my Facebook one. Like, we are doing what we can here with what we have. Sweet Pea is really awesome and granted us access to kind of showing off her chart to kind of give her a better understanding of herself. which was so awesome. I'm so honored.
y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you.
And that's the other one as well there, hunger. But yeah, those are just different things that if you don't want to do all the heavy lifting and you're just wanting things in front of you right away, just give me a day or two. I'll have it all written down. I usually do that on my free time anyways, going through astrology books and when I'm not homeschooling my kids or dealing with dinners and breakfasts and stuff. This is kind of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I just go through knowledge.
She's legit. I've been on plenty of her
It's the Taurus.
podcasts. She's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
It's the Taurus.
I could
Take it all on.
Mm-hmm. This is something everybody to understand about me. Nobody's on my podcast that I haven't done thorough research on and that are not good at what they do. I can tell you that right now. If anybody know me, know I'm very, very particular with who I allow to even be around me. So Gabby is legit. JoJo is legit. Like anybody that's on my show, they're the cream of the crop at what they do. And I've researched them for a while and figured them out. So yeah, they're really yeah, Gabby's legit. I mean, she's worked with others, y'all. She's worked with Desiree. She's worked with Eric. You could talk to them about their experience. She's done shows with them before. So Sweet Pea's been around with us for a while. So yeah, Gabby's great. So definitely go support her. And whatever you send as far as donations to me, I split with Gabby because she's on my show. I'm not gonna have her on here and not send her, part of the money. That's not how I operate. So yeah, whatever. Just an FYI, whatever you send to us, even though it's sent to my channel, Gabby automatically gets half of it. So you can send it to her directly. You can send it to me. Just know she'll get it.
They're wanting to know if they can be invited in a few minutes.
Sure. If you're okay with it, it's your show, Gab. You good?
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Okay, cool. So we went over Pete's chart a lot. We'll have to revisit this because this is not something you could do in one show. And I figured it was going to come a time, which I have absolutely no problem with. Long as Gabby don't have a problem with it because it's kind of both for our thing. So long as you have a problem, I know people are going to want to call in, and that'll cut into us, digging deep. So real quick before I send this invite, Gabs, if you want to, Wednesday coming up, we can focus more on the houses because we've kind of been glossing over that a lot. So we can do that.
Yeah, I figured if we went over just like the basics right here, because like the houses, they kind of give like an extra layer on top of what you're a part of. So like, for example, we can actually do I have a short-handed one I can kind of go over if you want me to.
Sure.
While we're waiting.
And then ascendant signs too.
Yeah, ascendant.
We didn't go over my ascendant.
Yeah, your ascendant was a Capricorn, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like ascendants, for example, are what you look like in front of people consciously.
Oh.
It's the essence that they see when they're walking in the room. They're like, "Oh, you're this. Okay, gotcha. You're capable. You're well-handed. You can handle or manage anything." That's what Capricorns kind of push off. They are kind of like this really good supervisor position. They know that they can, whoever they give this out to directly is going to be able to push out to the team what needs to be done. They're not going to cut corners. They're going to personally move forward and get this shit done. Exactly what we need so that I can actually get my raise or I can get up a line up on the ladder. Because Capricorns are definitely driven. They're driven people. They like to get shit done. Very similar to Tauruses, except Tauruses take their time when they do it. Capricorns are like, I got this. Let's just go. Let's just do this. Let's go do that. And they'll have a list of what they want done.
That's as a result of two different modalities. That's why I opened up this show explaining, because I knew people were going to have questions about it. The reason that they're both of the same what? I told you have two things you got to consider when you're talking about any type of zodiac or chart: their modality and their element. What's the two things that Taurus and Capricorn have in common is Taurus is an earth sign, Capricorn is an earth sign. The difference is they have two different ways they operate based off their what? Modality. A Taurus is a fixed sign, which means it takes them time to change their position. A Capricorn is a cardinal sign. So they're always on the move, looking for new ideas, all that type of stuff. I'll give you the water element because me and Sweet Pea are both sun, water sign. We're both Cancers, but we're cardinal Cancers. Our fixed comrade will be Scorpio. They're a fixed water sign, so they're more fixed on their opinions about stuff and their feelings about people. Scorpios are very black and white people. Either they like you or hate you right away. That's just the way they are based off their emotion. And the reason for that, they tend to be more perceptive of bad energy over other people. They have that sixth sense where they can pick up like something's not right. That's why your Scorpio fans, if they're around you and they're always like,
That's my protection level for me personally. If I don't feel like I like you, then it's like we're done.
You got that Scorpio rising, Gabs. So you got that sixth sense too with that Scorpio rising. Yeah. And
hey,
what's up, Des? Hello. She got a new look and everything. She's got the Marilyn Monroe look going on or something.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Hunger is getting ready to. He's trying to get booted in here. He must
okay, that's fine.
Like a little slow. He's getting Dez. If you would like, you come up. We got enough space for one more, another woman for balance. Dez is kind of in tune to a lot of this stuff too. Whatever. Okay. Hello. Oh, you're a woman. I'm sorry. I didn't know you're a woman. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Not that it matters. I just didn't know you're a
the balance thing.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Come on.
Christina. That's Christina.
I'm going to try to get you on my little earbud.
Hi.
Thank you. I'm getting you on my little earbud so we don't get a feedback. And of course, it decides to
love your workshop
life with me, which has been my issue all night. Is nothing seems to be working right, and it is driving me nuts. Yes,
you sound pretty
I'm
crisp
a woman.
through the headphones.
Yeah, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if you want to either project into the mic a little more, maybe if you have a low volume, maybe come up a couple of notches. Other than that, you sound clear. We just need the volume to go up a little bit.
Okay, are you getting any echo back if I leave my speakers on my monitor on?
No.
Oh, well, that's a change too. Normally it just goes crazy with that kind of crap. But hey, it is what it is.
Yep.
Well, then I will ignore the earbud and just talk to you normally.
Awesome. Welcome.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you. Yeah, my profile is both myself and my partner. It made us easier to find when it comes to the World Wide Web and all the joyous things that are involved with it, and to have that mutual identity and not worry about personal profiles on some of these things. Like we have personal email addresses, but we don't have personal profiles when it comes to social media. It's just much easier to maintain, especially since he barely touches social media. So if it wasn't for me, nothing would happen. So we're both a guy and a girl, and every once in a while he gets mistaken for me, and every time once in a while I get mistaken for him. I actually go by Chris a lot because when I sign things Christina, I find I don't get as many gigs as I do if I sign things Chris. Mm-hmm. And it's great when you're trying to get a performance contract and you're doing all these characters and stuff like that, and you send an email and you sign Christina and you get no response, and you send another email and you sign it Chris, and suddenly someone calls you and goes, "Can I speak to Chris?" And you're like, "You're speaking to Chris." They're like, "No, Chris, a guy. No, you're speaking to Chris. Hi."
Yeah, that's interesting. That adds a perspective to what we always understood, that women, get looked at differently in a lot of different circles with different things. And that's just like if I've heard with resumes, like if you have what they consider a hood sounding name, which I do, my first name, I go by my initials, but I do have a urban first name. And a lot of people be like, "Oh, well, yeah, I didn't expect you to talk like that." Then when I come in and they understand that I actually know how to conjugate my verbs properly and I know how to speak eloquently, they kind of are more comfortable with me. Before that, they're kind of like, "Yo," and like squeeze my hand really hard, and I'm like, "That hurts." Like just because you have this perception that I'm a strong black guy, don't mean that hurts when you squeeze my hand. You know what I mean? Aww. So it's just that's very interesting. Similar to what you just said. Like if you have an urban sounding name, they'll throw your or if they won't throw your resume in the garbage, they profile you until you get in front of them. They'll profile you or have this prejudice of you until you show up. That's very true, actually.
Well, and it doesn't help that I'm a Leo. Like I tend to get really aggressive when people don't treat me the way that I feel I need to be treated. So
did you say you're a Leo?
Fun. I'm a Leo.
Now, awesome stuff. I have I have like 3 planets in Leo on my birth chart. My Mars is in Leo, so I already know exactly what you mean. My Mars and my Jupiter and Venus are all in Leo.
You're a
Wow.
quiet Leo, though.
I'm usually louder. I'm just trying not to get a feedback on the machine.
Oh, no, no, no,
Um,
no. I mean, like, your demeanor is very quiet.
Yeah, you're
it's
not bright and
trained.
bold. I get what
Yeah,
you
it's definitely been trained. But yeah,
mean.
you're a very like
I am.
tolerable.
I was thinking Scorpio. She has a kind of a Scorpio
It's a good choice of words.
energy. I was thinking
Yeah.
maybe.
I think you had to be that way pretty much probably your whole life. But I'm
I was
definitely yeah.
I was trained to
Did
be
you
a
do your
reporter
chart?
at the age of 8, and I became a child reporter. And I used to be part of a show locally where I basically interviewed the kid side of Toronto, and that involved running around and I did Santa Claus every Christmas. I invited him into the studio and stuff like that, and comic book artists. And there's a lot of footage that never made it to air because I had my father's political reporter training. So I would ask all the horrible questions and the awkward ones and the nasty ones and the aggressive ones. And then the producer would say, okay, can we ask the ones that a kid should ask Santa Claus? And those would be the ones that went to air. But yeah, it's very trained in me. It does build up at times because when you live a life where you're always thinking about your public image, you're always thinking about what part of you is marketable, what part of you is feasible, what part of you is, you very rarely actually get a chance to be yourself. And
Yeah.
it does. I've got enough notoriety to say that a lot of people recognize me, but I can only imagine what the bigger names are like. I can only imagine how much they go through because I know how much I go through. And
Christina, did you do your chart?
I have not done my chart.
Oh,
You,
okay. I
you
thought you
probably
did it.
should at some point. Yeah, it
Yeah,
helps
I'd
you
love to know
understand
what your
things
moon
better.
is.
Yeah,
I bet she's Scorpio moon.
that's what I was thinking too. I'm thinking water or some type of water.
Something
Maybe
real
Scorpio.
strong.
I feel like
think
it
it's
might be a
strong.
Pisces though.
Pisces.
Ooh.
It's definitely water. I'm feeling water. All of us are. It's interesting. We're all agreed that it's some form of water. But I think you have a very water.
Either that or she has an air sign.
I can see
Oh.
that too. I can see that too.
It's either a water sign or an air sign. Just
Yeah,
the way that her demeanor is with her emotions, how she's been able to compact this way for so long. It's got to be one of those, definitely.
One of the hardest things for me has been being involved with my partner. We've been together for 34 years, and he's a Taurus.
Uh,
And when we fight, um, wow,
yeah.
do not get in between us. Do not tell us to stop. Do not interfere with the process. It looks like we're going to kill each other, but we're not. We come close before we wake up and go, all right, we're human beings. But when we get things done, when we perform together, when we build together, when we create together, it's the same fervor, it's the same energy, it's the same um, aggression, I guess is a good way to
I'm
put it.
thinking your Plutos might be similar then if your fantasies are definitely being um, able to move forward with each other.
We've been held back a lot, which is why I've started kind of looking at some of this as a possible way for the both of us to understand each other because when you're together for that long, you think you completely understand the other person. But
Yeah.
experience, yeah, exactly. Experience is otherwise. And we've had a lot of experiences. We lost a very major project back in British Columbia. We got screwed over. We got slandered. We had a lot happen. And I got louder and he shut down. And it wound up being a very horrible struggle because uh, we couldn't move ahead together, but we still kept peaking when we did like a convention or whatever. And then we'd get home and we would just crash. And he's right now in a program relearning how to communicate not only with myself and our business, which is erratic, but he's learning how to communicate with himself. And I
Okay.
keep saying to people and friends and family who love us dearly, I keep saying to them over and over again, we don't know what next month will hold. we don't know what's going to happen from here because we know ourselves, but we don't anymore. And it's been quite an interesting struggle. So when I stumbled on your cast, and it's partially because of Sweet Pea, because I follow
Yeah.
Sweet Pea, so she kind of shows up on my feed, and
Yeah, she's pretty cool. I thought.
um,
Much love to you.
and I went, ooh,
Christina.
what's this? Click, click.
Aw.
So, thank you, Sweet Pea.
Oh, so glad you came in. I think you'll find out a whole lot more by their broadcast and probably get to join in more often by doing your birth chart, and you'll know more about it, and they can help you more by doing
Well,
your
and this is it.
chart.
When you were saying personal and private, that's one of the hardest things too with growing up in this industry, is you don't have these barriers that everyone else has, and it really bites you in the butt when someone takes advantage of it. But it just makes sense to be open about it, and there's a constant struggle as to what actually is private and what is not private. So
That's why I formed Melody of Spirit. Like, I wanted people to feel comfortable with themselves, as well as like giving them that opportunity to feel like they were at home. I want them to feel like they have that ability to be comfortable and safe and well understood. And that's why I created Melody of Spirit readings, etc. Because it's not just readings, it's connection, it's integrating what you know already about yourself and just giving you the advice that you may need. Technically, most of these cards readers that you know, they're just doing it for show. They don't do the deviation things for actual good reasons. It's mostly just because, oh, my mother did this and now my grandmother did this. They don't really fully understand the impact it has on a person.
yes, and same with our industry. It's so many people, you get close to them and you don't know them from a hole in the wall, but you've got to sell the product, you got to sell the character, you got to sell the show. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
times where I get exhausted because I'll do a gig and I'm in a character that I'm pulling from a piece of me to create that character, but that character isn't me. And then they bump into you when you're just normal in the street, and they're shocked that you're not that character.
Uh-oh. Did we lose her?
She'll be right back. I think her internet went over.
Gotcha. I think Dad's asked to join. Dad's is coming up.
Yeah,
If she wants to, yeah.
she's
Yeah.
tired of typing.
Yeah, she said
I don't
she
blame her.
didn't like it. What's this bah ha 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 thing y'all got going? Is that like an
She
inside
said
no
that.
males
It's
allowed?
just a
thing?
laugh.
It's just her laugh.
It's just laughing.
I thought this was like some chick stuff, like the girls, like no guys allowed. Of course, I'm joking. I don't even call women chicks, but yeah, I thought this was some ladies only,
Oh, no.
special jacket type stuff or something.
No, we got members only jackets for that.
Yeah, I thought y'all had the members only joint going on here. Like, what's this? You already got Dez making the sexist joke talking about all the energy. What's up?
Oh, he flipped it around.
It's a secret club. Oh no.
It's secret.
Hey, DJ, do you mind sending her another link, or
Sure.
because she's having issues?
Gotcha.
Hello,
Desi.
What's up?
What's up?
I sent it to you.
Poor thing.
Yeah,
Allergies.
Dad's coming in with
Ain't
the
no
horror movie
Jigglypuff.
hairstyle. What's up, Dad? You got the horror movie hair going.
Wait, what?
Got the what?
You got the Rain Girl hairstyle going on. The movie The Rain. What's that on your head? That's
The
a cool
long-
hair. Yeah, the long hair.
Long
My
hair.
bandana.
She washed, conditioned, and blew her hair out. Check Des out.
That's her Dan Bana.
Damn.
What's up, Des?
So, baby, this is a wig. You know, I had to style it today.
She's always styling. Always. Styling, profiling, ain't you,
I
Des?
thought that was your hair. I ain't know that was no wig.
I'm a
You didn't
Sagittarius. I have to
tell
look
anybody.
good.
There you go.
What does the Sagittarius have to do with looking good? Wouldn't any woman want to look good no matter what they were?
No, not necessarily.
No, it's a Sagittarius. We have to flaunt. We
gotta
have to be a.
flaunt.
So actually, Sagittarius women like to look extra good. I got you. Okay.
They're extra.
You know.
You know what, Des? I think it's more
That's
your.
my niece to a T.
your
She's
Leo
a triple Sag.
Oh man. She's probably a
Yeah.
handful. She's a triple
Oh,
handful.
she is a handful. She's a teacher and she's a handful.
Oh man,
Lord, yes.
Des, I think it's more your Leo rising than anything. I could see that.
Oh,
being-
you got Leo rising?
Yeah, I think that's
Sagittarius,
Oh.
Leo, and Scorpio. So you
she
know.
got
I can feel the
all
mushy
fire
side of
all
the
over.
Leo.
Yeah, she got all that fire and feistiness all over her chart. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Des went to find herself. She dipped herself in Lake Minnetonka and came back.
What?
Like,
What is that?
you
This
never
Where
heard?
you say that?
Yeah, you never heard of Lake Minnetonka? Les?
No.
I'm gonna have to Google that
Where's
now.
that?
It's in Minnesota.
Oh, I've got I don't know. I've
It's
got
not
some
even a
relatives
literal
up there,
thing.
but no.
It's like a joke about Prince. You know, Prince is from Minnesota. The artist Prince.
Yeah.
He's from Minnesota. Well, God rest his soul, he's passed, but he's from Minnesota. But it was a joke on sketch comedy that I'm going to purify the Chappelle Show. I'm going to purify myself in the Lake Minnetonka or whatever. That's what the joke comes from. It kind of evolved into a spiritual joke where the spiritual people dip themselves in Lake Minnetonka. It's kind of a running joke on my podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had never heard that.
Yeah, Lake Minnetonka. But I thought it was some fiction that they made. It's actually a place in Minnesota called Lake Minnetonka.
Really?
Just
Oh,
like
that's cool.
yeah,
What is that?
like you got all these rivers with these real names like Lake
Wow.
Chattahoochee and all that. Those don't even sound like real places. Like no fucking way that's a real place. Like, but
We
it
got
is
a lake called Chattahoochee.
Chattahoochee. Yeah, that's in
Yeah.
like Tennessee or Alabama, somewhere down there.
Yes, in Tennessee.
Chattahoochee, and I was like, there's
Chattahoochee.
no way that's an actual fucking place, but it is.
It's got to be
It's
like
actually a
a
song.
Indian thing. Yeah, it's a song.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who whose song is that? Is that Chaka Khan or something? Who made that?
No, Chaka Khan. What? No. Chattahoochee.
Never knew how much that muddy water meant to me, but I learned how to
Yes.
swim. I learned how to learn. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
I
about
know,
women and a
and a little about love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's been a long time. That's like
Who made that
90s.
song?
90s country.
Oh, that's why.
I know it, but it's
Is
like
that Alan
90s.
Jackson?
Yes, it is. And he's got a house on that lake. He does.
Only country artist I know is, and I was a big fan with Johnny Cash. He's like the only country person I know.
That's the only one?
Yeah.
Tracy Atkins.
I've heard of
man.
other people, but I can't tell
Tracy
you none of
Atkins.
their songs. You know,
Yeah.
I like Shania Twain because she's beautiful, but yeah,
Oh,
Shania Twain that's a.
Garth Brooks.
she still looks the same.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Garth
Garth.
Brooks.
Yeah,
My
she
mama
drank,
didn't like
she
Shania
drank
Twain.
from the Fountain of Youth.
What'd she
but
say? She's do what?
She drank from the Fountain of Youth. That's why she still looks good.
Oh, that's probably
None,
what it
none
is.
of y'all look y'all age. Every single
Yeah.
person here is older than me, but they don't. Gab's the least older than me, but like none of you look your age. None. Leslie, you look.
How
barely
old are
20.
you?
Do you know our ages?
I don't think he does.
I don't know
y'all
if
in y'all
I've said
30s.
how much I was.
Yeah, I know y'all in y'all 30s. Everybody.
What?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm not 30.
You're not 30 days?
Hey, not yet, not yet.
She's
Don't-
not
don't
in her
push it.
30s. No.
Man, I thought you
I'm
were
not
like-
30 either. I'm 28.
Y'all are in y'all's 20s.
I thought.
Yeah.
No, I'm not 25, Alina. I actually just turned 30 July 1st. I literally just turned 30.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
I'm 28.
Des, I thought you were
Y'all
born in
young'uns.
88, 89.
Yes.
I swear I thought you
They
were.
are, Elena.
Mm.
Y'all are young'uns. All of them.
Gabs, aren't you about 32, 33? You're not. I know you're not well over 30, but you're 30.
No, I'm 28.
8. Yep.
You're
I can
28,
figure
Gabby.
that. I think
Yeah, you
Des
got
is
it all
around.
wrong.
You're like 25 to debt.
It's like,
Des,
I
aren't
act
you?
older than I am. I've been told I've been an old soul my whole life. Like
Okay.
that's just a thing.
so
That's
me and
probably what
Sleepy
it
are the
is.
eldest then on here. I swear. I
I'm the
thought you were-
elder of all of it. Joseph,
you're-
don't feel
you're
bad.
only-
I'm old.
I think you're only like 3 or 4 years older than me, Sleepy. You're not.
No. No.
Des is
No.
pretty young
Joe
too.
Burks.
I wish.
Joe.
I wish. Thank you, but I'm not. But I'm a lot
Oh.
more than a couple. Sadly.
Even
So
if
did
you're only
this-
10 years older than me, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
This app just completely kicked out Christina.
Yeah, 52.
I-
Yeah, pretty much.
Christina says 52.
Yeah, I sent her the
What?
thing. I don't know what's going on.
And she
Okay.
said he sent her another one.
Don't
What
feel
up,
bad because
Joseph?
my mic randomly cuts. I get kicked
No,
out of my show.
It's a Red Bull. It's a Red Bull.
TJ Elena said happy belated birthday in the chat.
Thank you.
Yep, Elena, this is a Red Bull. It's called Coconut Berry.
That sounds amazing.
It looks
I don't
like
drink
It's
Red
how
Bulls,
I'm
but
still alive right now.
the flavor sounds good.
it looks
Dude,
like
you
it's
still
being
drink
alluded.
that?
That's what
I
it
don't
looks
drink
like. A can of lube. That's what it
coconut.
looks like. It looks weird.
Can of lube.
What?
How old are you?
I don't know. I'm getting a
I don't
Might
think
goofy.
be-
they even
I
make
might
It's
be
too
liquid
late
scared.
for me.
anymore. Like that's not
What'd
even
you
a
say,
thing.
Gabby? What'd you
I
say?
said they
Can of
don't. I don't
lube.
think they even make lube in a can anymore. Like that doesn't make.
I don't think.
That ain't a thing.
That's why Dez asked how old I was. Okay.
Hey, Mr.
Oh,
Beck,
boy.
what's
Yes.
up?
Yeah.
Who
GA
doesn't love some
Throne.
good
We
berries?
got a person with a gorilla avatar that's cracking some really funny jokes in this thing here.
Oh, that's my
Oh, yeah.
favorite too. I love watermelon. Oh my gosh,
Coconut.
Mhm.
watermelon is legit.
Yes, especially when you
So-
slice it up nice.
I know, me
I
too.
slice it up
Joseph.
nice. Put a little bit of pink salt on top. A little bit of cinnamon. Ooh, fancy.
I've never
Fancy.
eaten a watermelon the way you just described ever in my life.
I would love to love watermelons, but I do not like anything about it. Nothing. I've
Yeah, nor
tried
do
it.
I. I'm not.
It
I'm not. Big,
smells
I'll
good.
eat it, but it's not my first.
Honestly,
Just
it's
water
better
and
when you're
grit.
under the influence. It feels like a gusher in your mouth.
Gusher.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to just pass that one on by there.
No, I'm just saying. If you are legally
I know.
authorized to
My
be under the
brain-
influence,
I know.
it's awesome.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Totally
I'm
went
more
down
of
the
a
rabbit
mango-
hole.
Me too.
I'm more of a mango pineapple type of person. Mango
We're
pineapple.
going south real quick.
Right down.
Hey,
A
we
mango.
have to bring some balance to a very serious show. We got to
Yes.
allow everybody to digest all the information we just whacked. over.
Uninvite.
Yeah.
Oh, Christina said uninvite and reinvite. That's probably what you have to do.
Mhm.
I'm lost too, Joe.
Yeah, I can do that quick.
Me
Hold on.
too, Joe.
It's okay, Joe. Not everybody understands
all-
this. This is
We
extra.
don't even. Me and Des don't even. We're over here in left field.
All those
Uh,
damn
check now.
shows.
Oh,
Check now, a Hunger Creative.
Okay.
Check now. Because it could just be you might have to reset. This thing acts up all. I literally my
This is
audio
great.
cuts randomly. I get kicked out of my own shows like every other day, and
oh,
I have like
no.
the highest quality equipment. I have a Blue Yeti mic. I have a Blue Yeti
This is
headphone.
probably
Like
the longest I've been on live without my phone or my camera or anything
yeah,
going
Gab gets kicked
wackadoodle.
out. Every Wednesday, Gabby gets kicked out at some point or another during the
Yeah.
broadcast. Yeah. So don't take it personal. It literally it
Been
could just be
here.
that effect. Yeah.
I get
That's
kicked out
why
of
I
my
don't
own
like getting on
broadcast.
phones.
Yeah.
I have not yet had that happen.
Dad, I just
I have
found
been
out randomly that
recording and
I
didn't
found
know.
out I found out randomly one day Dad's just disappeared from like apps. They was like, "Oh, she's not on here no more." And I'm
Yes.
like, "What?" And they was like, "Oh, it fried her phone or something," and she just left. I was like,
I didn't know
"This
that.
app needs some work if it's frying people's
Did
phones."
it? Des,
A little
did
bit.
it do that?
A little
I
bit.
didn't know that. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had
When you
no
go on
idea.
the reviews, like when you go on the reviews,
You
like
bet
if you
your
go to the
mom.
Apple store or the Android store reviews, that's literally like 2 of the complaints. They was like, I tried to get us a chance as a very positive, uplifting audience and community, but this thing fried my computer and my phone. That's literally
Oh,
what like 2
man.
of the comments on there say. Like 2 of the
Mhm.
recent comments say that.
Recent. Oh crap.
Like within the last 3 months. So
My
Dad,
phone doesn't get hot.
Yeah.
you might
Not
have a
like
good
that.
you might just have a good phone. You got to update like a most recent iPhone or something like that. Or
Yeah,
Android.
I do,
That's
but
probably
it
why.
sucks for 5G. I've had 3 of them. 3 iPhone 12s, and
Yeah.
I hate them. It's horrible.
All you need is the CPU. Their
Yeah.
CPU is that's why you don't
It
because
must be.
mine I got a 6. I have an iPhone 6 and I almost have no problems with this app. Almost none.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
now almost.
Oh,
Then again, I have
yeah.
phone fans too. I have a lot some phone fans to put my phone on.
They're redoing the whole app. Have y'all heard that? Like the entire whole app for phones.
Good.
They're redoing the whole thing. So
Now,
that's
actually,
nice.
ironically, P, the phone functions better than the desktop. The desktop is still beta. It don't let you
Really?
forget. It says literally on because I'm on the desktop now. It says
Oh.
HAPS beta with a pink outline. Like it wants you to know that's a
Really?
beta. Yeah, like it
Wow.
still says HAP beta. Yeah, I use the browser because I don't
Oh.
like being restricted to my phone. Like I want my phone off, So I use
Yeah.
my webcam and stuff like that. So I don't want to just
Gotcha.
have my phone tied up. I might have a important call or something coming in.
Yeah. True.
It's 11:11.
It
Is
is. Make a great wish.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's on my. Up here.
Salute.
Is there anything you want to tell us about your chart or any art that you got that means anything? Because you've been gone for a while.
Yeah. She's been.
Me?
Oh, she had a cool thing she was doing last night.
No, the other Dez. The one that look to the right. That Dez. Did you see that shadow right there? That's the Dez I want.
Oh,
It's
that's
a
the
beautiful
demon
shadow.
side of me.
Beautiful shadow.
Like, what? Who? Is there another Des here?
Yeah,
This.
Dez. What's
Is
that?
what
Man?
I'm working
That
on.
looks cool.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That is
Looks
that
so
looks
wild.
gorgeous.
That makes me want ice cream.
I
It's
know,
for
right?
the Haps ice cream.
Des, I went and got that ice cream today, and I got sicker than crap, but I got it. The
Are you
banana
lactose
pudding.
intolerant?
Yeah, a little bit,
Oh.
but it was good. It was worth it. It was the banana pudding milkshake from Sonic. It was really, really,
That
really
sounds
sweet
delicious.
and
I love
rich.
Sonic.
If you like banana pudding, it is banana pudding in like milkshake form. It's really good, but don't get any size medium or anything. Get a teeny tiny mini or something if you are sensitive to like sugar or lactose, whatever. But it was so
Gotcha.
It's
That makes
great.
sense.
Could do almond milk at home.
I wish
Create
I
your own.
could. Ooh,
You could,
yes,
yeah.
at
Or
home.
coconut milk.
It
Oh
had
my
pieces
goodness.
of. It had little chunks of the vanilla wafers in it, though. That was what was so
I
amazing.
encourage anyone to get a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, get one. It'll save you so much money getting a blender and a food processor. Like you literally can make anything with a blender or a food processor.
That's true, and it's good
I
for
have a-
chopping stuff.
I have a coffee grounder because I buy the grounds and because I drink coffee and have a cigar every morning. It just gets me going. But it's
Coffee and
just like
cigar. Huh.
coffee and cigar. Yep, because they're both stimulants, so they get you
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Interesting. Cool.
Coffee is also a diuretic. A lot of people don't know that. It's a chemical in coffee that makes you go to the
I
bathroom.
wished I liked it. I've
Yeah.
tried to like it too, just like watermelons, and I don't like either.
Are
I
you
like
talking
the
about coffee?
smell. Yes. Yeah, coffee.
You
I
know, it's
like
different blends. Maybe the blends you just had, you just don't like. You have to try different blends.
It's like tea that's hot tea. I don't love hot tea either. It's gonna have sugar in it. That's bad. I know,
That's
but
fair enough. Because I drink
yeah.
my coffee black. I know some people don't like black coffee, but that's
Yeah.
how I do it.
Oh, I like
that's what my
black
other
coffee.
half he likes black coffee,
Oh,
and
that's
it's so
amazing,
strong.
Christina.
That's
That's
all
what's
they
up, Dad.
drink. His
We here.
family.
We here,
Yep.
Dad.
No
My
sugar,
mom's
no
is-
cream, just
My
straight
mom's
black.
this much
Coffee.
cream and this much
Yeah.
coffee.
Mhm.
That's what my mom says. She
Yeah.
likes all them flavored things and changing them up and trying them all.
There's a way you can make ice cream with bananas. Like you freeze
Oh,
bananas, and then you can either add a milk product or substitute, or you can even do coconut water. And then you just add whatever fillings you want to put in it. Like you can do dark chocolate, make it into like a chocolate chip ice cream kind of thing.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Add a
That's
little
all.
bit of vanilla.
Hi, Chrissy. Sorry, Christina. She's trying.
up, Chris?
Her stuff's doing some weird stuff, she said.
Mhm. That's great. Yeah, I agree. And you also can make ice cream from frozen yogurt too. You could just add.
I love frozen yogurt. That's what I can eat. That's more my style.
But if you're
I don't
lactose intolerant, bananas are the way to go.
Yeah, because it's a muscle relaxer. It helps you go to the bathroom. That's true.
Yep.
Oh.
That and pineapple. Oh, yeah.
I love pineapple. Pineapples and mangoes are my two favorite fruits. So hint,
It's
anybody?
also what isn't it like a what do you call it? Like a helps with like inflammation. There you go. That's
yeah.
what.
Oh, it's for joints for when you get
inflammation and
muscle spasms.
Also, if you eat it during pregnancy, it helps with you not feeling so like with preeclampsia and stuff, because it helps your body slowly decompress the excess.
Any type of muscle relaxer is great with that. Bananas.
Yeah.
What's another one? Coffees. Cereal, any type of fiber. They're a muscle relaxer. That's why the doctors really, if a good doctor, they would discourage you from eating bananas in the morning because it does what? It makes you sleepy. It brings your body down. You're not supposed to eat bananas.
Really? That's what my first drink was with my protein drink every day.
Try to
put
shy away
bananas
from
in
bananas if you can. You know what? Actually,
I'm glad you told me.
Two things that they were linked to, because I went to school. I went to school for science, but I focused more on mental and brain science. But cinnamon, the reason and a lot of people don't notice this, cinnamon is put in a lot of breakfast cereal because cinnamon is linked to brain activity. That's why they put it in a lot of breakfast cereal, so you eat it right in the morning, so you can get your brain going. Also, cinnamon has been linked to kind of slowing down, like if you catch early forms of autism or anybody, sorry, not autism, but Alzheimer's. Seniors, you start doing a lot of brain activities with them because basically their brain is degenerating, so you have to keep the cells and stuff active. And a lot of people think like, oh, you can't overcome Alzheimer's. Yes, you can. You have to combat it early and start doing like puzzles, brain challenges, and eat a lot of cinnamon. because that stimulates brain activity. So that's why you see a lot of breakfast cereals with cinnamon in oatmeal and stuff like that. That's the link. It's a stimulant. That's why when you eat a lot of cinnamon, it kind of it brings you up because it's a stimulant. It brings you up.
Like
Like a
cinnamon
coffee or anything.
toast crunch and all the different cinnamons you see with breakfast stuff.
That's why
That
it's so
makes
much
sense.
cinnamon in breakfast cereal, because chemists and brain, they figured it out a long time ago. It's a stimulant. It's
Wow.
it's a brain cell stimulant. Yeah.
That's interesting. Just random things like that. That's really cool fact. To learn.
And a lot
about.
a lot of us don't eat enough food with water content. Like we'll eat like potatoes. Potatoes is fine, but when you eat a lot of potatoes, you have to have grains and you have to have a lot of vegetables. The vegetables are fiber heavy, so they clean out a lot of your digestive, a lot of stuff that's because your body doesn't break down a lot of food or digest it well if just by itself. So that's why you need that extra boost, like corn, for example. Not to gross people out, but why when you go to the bathroom with corn, it doesn't dissolve. It sits there because corn is not designed to be breaking down in your body by itself. Corn is a very harsh starch and sugar. That's why it doesn't break down like that. That's why you'll go to bed like, oh, it's corn there. That's why, because your body doesn't really corn is not really designed for humans because it was designed for cattle. It's just we like the taste of it, but it's really designed for cattle. It's not really designed for people. And real corn is not even green. Real corn is purple. That's why you go to South America or somewhere with corn.
Purple
corn
whole
is really
corn.
purple. It's not yellow. Yellow corn is processed.
That's purple whole corn.
Yep, the real corn is purple.
That's what he is. He's an educator, entertainer.
That's what, and that's why I put that in my bio. I'm an edutainer. That's exactly what I think.
I just saw that the other day, and I was like, oh, he's got both in there, entertainer and educator together.
Yeah.
So
Car
good.
Hunger, thank you for being here. Thank you for trying. We'll try to get you up again. I'm not sure what's going on. That's because it's GMO. Yes, anonymous Facebook user.
It's probably one of mine. It's probably Elaine.
I love that. She just like, forget this. I'm anonymous Facebook user. I love that name.
Yeah, no, it's probably Elaine because Elaine does this. She does really awesome like facts that just randomly come out of the blue. I love it though. It really works for us though. Sometimes I don't even know that.
Oh shit! Yeah, that is so funny. That made my night. Anonymous.
Yeah, I'll take down your email, Christina, and we can talk. All right.
Sure.
How did you know that was Elaine? Because that was totally on my Facebook.
Oh, it's just how Elaine is. That's just her. Like, she's a really awesome person with random information.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. It's similar to how my husband operates too. He has like a plethora of random facts and information, and nobody really appreciates it. And then when it finally comes up out in the open, you're like, oh, I did not know this. How did we get to this?
Do you know how valuable history? Do you know how valuable a person like that is at bar trivia? Those are the people you call doing bar trivia that knows random.
My niece's husband is one of those people, and they're great at that, and they go to it.
Want to hear a fun fact? Since we're talking about zodiacs, you know what zodiac signs excel at that? The mutable signs excel at trivia stuff because they're really good at filling in the blanks where either the cardinals or the fixed signs don't fight. They're always like adaptable, like Sagittarius is specifically because Sagittarius. This is something we didn't get into a whole lot, but on another episode we definitely get into this, and that's what planets are dominated, what signs are, what planet dominates your zodiac sign. Sagittarius are either them or Virgos. They're two of the most knowledgeable, mutable zodiac signs, and they are the people that you call if you need to know some trivial stuff because it's a good chance. Sagittarius. It's a good chance they'll know. Sagittarius learn indirectly, like something they're very learn as they go along type people. So some stuff like they'll tune people out or something like that. But odds are they flip past it on TV and they might know it. Like they're very curious by nature, so it can get them in trouble sometimes. But they're very so it was a good chance they saw something on an Animal Planet that they don't need to read in class because they saw it on TV. You know what I'm saying? So they're very and Virgos are very practical learner people, whereas Sagittarius learn on the job. They're very because they're fire signs. So they're very action driven. They don't like too much detail, too much blah, blah, blah. It's more to let's get to the action. That's why the cartoon character that was associated with being Sagittarius was Peter Pan, because he was always curious. So they say Sagittarius they don't like to grow up and they're always curious, but that's why they call Peter Pan. The person that created Disney, Walt Disney, was a Sagittarius. His birthday was December 8th. He's a Sagittarius. They're very childlike imagination people. So you'll see them creating in art, and they're very trivial based. And Virgos are just kind of bookworms in general. So they likely just read it like earlier that day or something like that because they're always reading and trying to like add to what they know. So cardinal sign, I'm sorry, not cardinal, but mutable signs are very trivial based people, and people take it for granted because they look at it, oh, that's frivolous. I don't need to know that. You know what I mean? Now sometimes that trivia will come in handy or whatever. But if you Sagittarius are the planet that they're controlled by is Jupiter. Jupiter is an expansion planet, and even if you look at the Greek mythology, Jupiter was a the Roman the god Jupiter was a womanizer. He was known for being a womanizer because he liked to move and spread out. That not the womanizer part, but the expansiveness of Sagittarius is why they learn so much because they learn by action. They travel. They're really good with foreign languages because they like to travel, and they're really good with kind of being instinctual and learning stuff like on the fly. Like you'll be stranded somewhere, everybody be bent out of shape. Next thing you know, Sagittarius like, there's water over there. They was walking while you was asleep. They're very outside the box thinking people, so that helps down the line and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I have quite a few Sagittarius around me. So yeah. Jojo and Brian are both Sagittarius.
Most all my people and my family are like Cancers, and they're all around me.
All
lot
my
of
dad's children are Cancers. Pretty much like 90%.
Why am I blurry?
You said why am I blurry? What?
I'll be back.
Hey, at least you're not popping up in the thing and popping out. Remember the last time?
Why am I blurry? I thought shit, why am I boring? I was like, I don't know.
No,
it's the joy of the camera. If you like this happens with
It's haps
too. If I'm like showing a card on the camera, it will unfocus and refocus itself back and forth over and over again, and then it freaks out and freezes, or it chooses to like blur out the only image that really makes any sense.
Yep.
Hi, Christina.
See you, Carl Hunger Creative. Thank you for being here. We'll try to get you up again next time. I'm not sure what happened. And it cut out right when you was
I have your email, so I will email you under this email here. I'm gonna write it in the chat.
And Dez, correct me if I'm wrong. Dez might be extra investigative because our moon's in Scorpio. So that makes them very detective-like. Sagittarius are kind of curious anyway, but when you have a Scorpio moon, that accentuates it because they're kind of investigative by nature anyway. So that probably if you have a Sagittarius with like a Scorpio Mercury, or like which Brian and JoJo, ironically, two people that work close with me, they both are Sagittarius with Mercury's and Scorpio. So they're very, very investigative and very factual by nature. So that's certain planets work well with each other. And also Scorpios, and this is more of a joke on the joke end, Scorpios and Sagittarius have a very perverse sense of humor. Both of those signs are known for having very perverse senses of humor. So when you combine those two, it makes them very, very sarcastic. Very, very sarcastic. That's why you see Dez always leading with jokes. See, Dez don't think I really know her, but I really know her. Like that's they're very, very perverse sense of humor type people. So that really accentuates.
Well, yes.
Yep.
She's got the best sense of humor, laughing and cutting up bubbly.
Is that?
What do you think? It's a phallus.
Oh God! Is that a chair leg or something like that?
What?
no, it's fluorite. It's fluorite. It's obelisk.
Oh, yeah.
But they're actually known as phalluses because of Isis.
Yeah.
So.
And then that's probably what the phallic symbol probably comes from phallus. That makes it because that's very phallic shape. I just didn't want to say it because I'm the only guy on here, and I would have came off as a perv because there's 3 women on here. So I was gonna let her say it.
Like anybody would think you're that level.
Say it again, See, this is what happens when you have too many women around you. See,
no, you don't get the same.
It just accentuates you, though. You get to show off.
Your feminine energy on your Cancer. That's it. You're comfortable with women. It just gets awkward when the conversation goes a different direction than you were thinking.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all.
You never know what's going to come up.
See, women. Something I learned about women. Women's thinking is way more complex than men. And what I mean by that is like women like overthink, like, is he really mad at me because he just stared at the TV and played the game? when it's really no, I just want to finish this board. It has nothing to do with that. A guy, when we get off work, is more like, I wonder, is it cheese in the refrigerator? Whereas women are thinking like, oh, he's probably mad because he
No,
went to
there's women who are like that though. They box compartmentalize things.
Okay.
There's some women though are just this is the ideology that I had in my head for women sometimes. We are spaghetti brains. We have so many connected little innards that all coexist with each other.
Everywhere.
And men have boxes, masculine boxes of what is compartmentalized.
That is true.
But some women have it where they're box compartmentalized because that's how they were trained, or it's how their sign interacts with everything. It's just how it lingers. Like if I'm in a working like mentality, my brain stays on this level. I don't want to divert or go anywhere that I'm not supposed to.
I'm very similar in that way too.
Now, being a parent has helped that greatly. I can become the spaghetti brain when it is dealing with my work. But it's not my favorite place to be. I don't like it being that messy. I like it to have structure. So I get where you're coming from.
But with the spaghetti brain, do you like to be limp or do you like to be hard?
Definitely more limp because I have more flexibility. And then I'll get hard when I want to get hard.
I can answer that. I will answer that in one word. Well, maybe a few words. I don't like to be flaccid. I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, Wood.
I'm comfortable with talking like that. It doesn't bother me. Military changes your life, man. You don't hear anything.
So I've heard. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what branch you're from either. They're all dirty.
Yeah, I heard the Navy are some of the most sexual people you can find. Like I heard, you're stuck on a ship with people, so that makes total sense. But
okay, so you understand. Yeah, I'm prior Army too. So is my husband. So, but he worked in an MOS where that was just the dark humor was there all the time. So
dark.
Like the Navy is definitely one of them, but the Marines, they have a different standard. It's
extra.
Especially in the sensual compartments. Now,
oh no.
When it comes to Air Force, it's very methodical. Like you got the mental capacity is on extra. Like we will find ways to make it sound like it's not perverted, but it really is.
I got you. I like more of that style.
So you'd do great in the Air Force. You'd make a really good Air Force. Yeah.
Okay, maybe. All right. I'm scared of flying, so I don't know about no Air Force. I'll have to be in the office or something.
Well, you don't have to fly in the Air Force. All you do is you can sit in a chair. You can have a desk job.
Because I was focusing on air. That's all I heard was air. I didn't hear nothing else but air. But maybe I would be. You know what? And I'm not a fraternity person, but if I was, I would pledge I felt the thought. That's the only fraternity. Is that going over anybody's head other than Sweet Pea?
I got it.
Yeah.
Oh goodness!
I give everyone who joins the military lots of props, but I couldn't do it. I was happy being an Army wife. It sounds great. Army is a lot of travel, and military in general is a lot of traveling. That'd definitely be a hard adjustment because I don't like moving unnecessarily. I got
insomnia. Yeah.
You need to take some CBD if you got insomnia problem. You need some CBD.
Yeah. No. Me and my husband have different levels of insomnia, so it kind of works out. Like, I've gotten better. My insomnia is triggered by anxiety, and his is just because he's bored.
Gotcha. Wow. Is that something that's bred by the military, or y'all was already insomniacs prior to?
He had insomnia prior. Mine's just triggered by anxiety. In the civilian life, that's probably how most of the time I stayed up until like the wee hours of the morning because I was too like amped up on like what's gonna happen.
Are you a weed? Do you smoke?
I smoke CBD.
I'm about to say you probably you need something. Yeah, CBD.
I prefer to smoke it than to chew it, or drink it in tea. You can make
Why not eat it?
I consume.
I have eatables. I have the eatables. They're yummy.
Eatables?
Yes.
I like the way you said that instead of edible.
The way she said it,
That's so
eatables.
cute.
You know
Because
what?
you ingest them. Okay, like
That's
edibles, it
cute.
just sounds like it's
Eatable.
something fake, and you
I
can just
love
figure it
eatable.
like a little treat to your dog or something.
Hey,
That's
I'll
so
say
cute.
this,
That's cute,
Gabby.
Gabby.
You will never be more clear saying mispronouncing words around. Black people are the masters of understanding mispronounced words. Like we literally talk to each other all the time in only
Hispanics too,
language that black people understand. Like we do it all the time. So we
especially
add
bilingual people. If you have
yeah,
bilingual people, they always make up another word that similarity
yeah.
kind of fills in the void for the actual word from their country.
Mm-hmm. Or they'll add singulars to plurals and vice
Yep.
versa. Like they do a lot of that.
It's
So
beautiful. It's a beautiful expression of bilingualism. It's awesome.
I'll see in black culture we add plurals to things that don't like. We've been saying it could be one Walmart, like in a lot, and we'll say, okay, I'm going to Walmart's. We'll add a plural just because that's what we do. Like
Oh.
Walmart's, Targets, and then we make words up. Like me and my best friend was actually just talking about this earlier. We can understand each other. Like we'll say like Foster came, like instead of I was supposed to come see you, we'll say I Foster came to get you, and we do it just flows. Like we just get it. Like you know what I mean? Like and another one, this is the funniest one to me. 2 words that we made up that's absolutely hilarious to me. Sunt and what's the I was talking to somebody earlier. Woo. I think it's woo. We try to say I wore it like past tense, but we'll say woo. I woo it the other day, or like I sunt it. And the thing that's funny to me is somebody sunt some shit to you, that means it's been coming for a long ass time. Like a pony's gonna come up with it. Pony Express is gonna
No. I feel that. That's a strong.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a surprise.
For a while. You know, I sent it to you. When the hell did you send it? Like 3 years ago? How do you send it? I just
Toss your coin to the Witcher.
Valley of plenty.
Right?
Dad is from Peoria, so I would imagine Dad's grew up around a decent amount of black people.
Peoria. Yeah.
Oh, you're an Oklahomian?
No, she's an Illinoisan.
No.
She's Illinoisan like me.
I'm Illinoisan. Peoian.
Ah, got you.
I'm an Oklahomian too. I was born and raised there for like 5 years of my life.
You an Okie?
Yeah, I'm an Okie.
You got an Okie vibe to you anyway. You kind of got a somewhat Midwest Southern thing going on.
I'm from Oklahoma, the Bible thumpers area, definitely. Tulsa. So if you know where Tulsa, Oklahoma.
My favorite wrestling.
I didn't know it went that far over.
It does. It goes farther. Down to Texas.
Over Texas? Oh, okay, that's what I was fixing to say. Yeah. Texas too.
What you talking about?
Bible thumpers.
Oh,
Bible thumpers. So basically, if you see a whole line of churches as you're driving by, you know that somebody decided to make a revival in every form of the word.
Well, Gabby, I'm black. It's churches everywhere on our blocks. We got churches.
It doesn't matter what flavor you are, honey. It's still they're there. They're all in.
Ooh.
We grew up in church. You know what I mean? Like that's the richest piece of real estate on the Black Rock is a church. Everybody go to church. You know what I mean? Like, but no, I'm joking. I'm joking. But I seen you at church the other day, Gabby. Don't act like I haven't seen you.
I seen you there. I seen you over there.
Another two funny words that I've heard other people say, or this is just urban. I've heard white urbaners. I heard Mexican. Or it's just an urban.
I got a call. I'll be right back.
Okay. 2 of the funniest urban things I ever heard is words that people just add. They just made up. Is pants and geese. Okay, so they'll say pantses, which pants is already plural, and then they'll say geeses. And I'm thinking like, damn, how many geese did you see? Like I wouldn't even be able to count geeses. Like I wouldn't be able. That's like an insurmountable amount of geese. Like I wouldn't even want to count that. It'll cross my eyes trying to count geeses. Maybe Daz can count geeses because she's on a different plane than me. I don't know. She's on like the 5th or 6th element. I'm not there, so I don't know. She probably can count geese.
5th or 6th element. That's a really good movie.
No, you
5th element.
I'm on the 5th element. I'm not talking about the movie. It's just like they're talking about like I can go past the 3rd element. I can go to the 5th element. Like that's like those more really spiritual people that talk like that. I thought you were on like what was that you were talking about? You were on the 9th divinity that time or something. It was some number.
Yeah, the density.
Something like that. But now I've kind of I've stopped all that like egotistical spiritual stuff. You know, like I'm a high blah blah, and I'm just like you know that's a program. No, stop that. I'm not better than nobody else. So.
Yeah, no, I feel you there.
I wouldn't consider it egotistical, but it is what it is.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Once you
all-
awaken, there's a lot of spiritual people who think they're better than every spiritual
very
person.
true.
So,
Yeah,
ugh.
that level of toxicity is very similar in a lot of different spiritual communities. It's really weird. Like, you're like, wouldn't you want a collective of diversity that all complement each other versus something so like hive mind?
No, because
Mm.
most people are uncomfortable outside of their tribes. Some know.
Like that's where my brain set's at right now, even with talking with like your higher self and your guides and all that fun jazz. Like you just know. Like there's something about us all having these different like mindsets and setbacks and things that are going on in our like even in the charts you can kind of see it very similarly where you like see why we have these differences and these diversities. Like it's important. If we were all cookie cuttered the same way, none of us would be able to like domino affect each other to get where we all need to be.
Like, why did you laugh after you said that?
I don't know. But yeah, it's just one of those things like we really do need, not in the sense of like we don't need separation, but we do need the element of diversity.
Yes.
We all lose our own element of our own self when we all try to be like Teal Swan.
Who the hell is Teal Swan?
She's an empath of some
Fake.
form.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I watched one of her videos. A neighbor of mine decided to say, "Hey, you should check her out." Like,
Teal,
I'm like, her name is Teal Swan. This is why I said it the way I said it earlier about like, there's people who do it for a show. Like it's literally a entertainment persona. They're not very authentic. They are very like you can feel it. Especially people who have a certain sign, they can tell. The sixth sense thing, like we showed off with Sweet Pea over here. You just see it. You see it, you smell it, you just know.
It's a big thing if you got water. Yeah.
So like, and even in some earth signs too, I think there is a couple earth signs and fires that kind of have pretty similar sixth sense, which we talked about earlier, like the Scorpio and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this weird like essence that just feels like they are literally connected to something that doesn't perform at its highest good or purest of intentions. Like it's just there in a sense of either survival mode. It has no ability to like evolutionize, like, or to cut down and rebuild. It's just everything that they have on the platter is what they're giving you, and that's it. They're not going to dive any deeper. They're not going to try to like dive and like figure out what other things could be more beneficial for themselves. They're just fixed.
I think that's too cultish thinking for me. I wouldn't function with any environment that's like that. But I agree. Like some people, like Alex Jones to me has always been exactly who you just described. I'll chalk that up to like.
I think it's an incense, Elena.
Yep.
Like the thing you burn incense. Like what do you mean?
Oh.
No, yeah, it's a cleansing ritual.
What kind do you got?
Is
that dragon's blood?
Oh, I thought she had I thought she was lighting up a doobie or something.
No.
Oh, if I had it, I would, but I wouldn't smoke it. I'd eat it in a brownie.
Oh, you an edible
person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Edibles take a longer time to go down through your system, so you get to start out slow, and then it kicks in throughout the day.
Because you'll feel it if you eat it all at once. You'll feel that. You'll be high for like 3 damn days.
Hash brown.
Yeah, I like young champas too. I'm a big. I just ordered me some incense actually earlier.
I love dragon's blood. I love. There's something called Fizzy Pop. It smells like soda, like an actual like Frisco soda.
And it has sparkles at the end of it.
It does. It does. It's so pretty.
Where do you get them?
At a holistic shop.
Yeah, holistic shop.
haven't seen that at the holistic shop yet.
Of
I'll
Yeah,
have
it's
to
gypsum?
look and
called Fizzy
ask 'em.
Pop. It's by the
Fizzy
same
Pop.
people. It's in a cone form. I don't know
Oh,
if
the
it's
cone kind.
It's in
yeah.
a stick
Okay.
form too.
Oh,
Oh,
I
they have
haven't seen the
stick
stick form. I've only seen it in cone.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
But
like
yeah,
find out.
the Egyptian musk and white sage. Those are probably my two.
Oh, white sage is good too.
I like
Fizzy.
anything
This
with
is
ocean. Like if it has an
this is
oceanic
sandalwood.
vibe.
Sandalwood's good.
Yeah,
I like all
I'm
of them.
connected to a lot of water myself. I'm a water person, so yeah, that makes sense.
I like to bring that element in because most of my chart is full of fire, water, and earth. And like there's
everything.
well, yeah, like but it's mostly my earth gets like the short end of the stick, my fire gets the short end of the stick, and so if I add a little bit of a water element to kind of like help like accumulate all of the extra, it kind of is like it's allowing my other parts of myself to be like, okay, I can be emotional. It's okay. Like I
Right.
don't have to hold it in. I don't have to let it go into like the ethers and like consume all hell rage fire. I can actually just allow it to just disintegrate. It can-
But which you having three somewhat sensual first three planets. When you got a Mercury and Taurus, wouldn't that make you a little more emotionally kind of anyway, like comfortable because your Mercury.
it depends on the people I'm around.
Okay. Well, that Libra
Yeah.
moon that makes sense because you got a Libra moon. They're very
Tauruses are blendable.
For the most part, we're very tolerable. We're tolerable people.
Shiftable.
until
You guys
they're
can
not
shift.
basically.
We can if we want to. That's the thing. Like we have to be
Yeah.
willing to.
Or you can be very hard headed about it. It's one way or the other.
You know what's ironic about that? And these are two sides that people will never ever, because everybody has a sign that's of a different element and a different modality that they have a lot more in common with than they think. Ironically, two signs that you would never think will get along that have a lot more in common than you think is Taurus and Sagittarius. They function both because Sagittarius are very Taurus-like, where they can kind of blend in and evolve, and they shift when they want to. They're very similar to Tauruses in that way, even though they're a different modality and they're a different element. One's a fire, one's a earth, and one's a fixed, and one's a mutable sign. You would think that wouldn't work, but surprisingly,
You think it's because of the balance?
well, balance is more like Libra.
No, not like that. I mean, because they're both opposites, like of balancing out of
It could
the
be.
different ones.
It could be. It could just
They balance each other.
It could be.
For Pisces?
No.
No, she
Sagittarius,
Taurus and Sagittarius, but it also depends on like the other signs of that person too.
Of course. Yes.
Gotcha.
So Des, you would probably get a little more along with a lot more Taurus because you got Scorpio.
Sorry, I didn't see the chat.
It depends because a lot of Tauruses put a front up, especially males, like a demeanor in such a way that it's intolerable sometimes.
Yeah, it can be, especially if they're not healed properly. Like they haven't fixed those parts that are like broken. They tend to be very intolerable, very irritable. You can sometimes get them like right out of the blue. They'll catch you off guard and they'll try to nail you with one of their like head poke kind of
narcissistic.
Yes.
You know what's funny about that? And I'm not sure what you'll know specifically about Lena, about Pisces, but just ask whatever specific question you want. The thing with Taurus that's interesting, or Taurus males, as y'all are just talking about, the word mansplaining is generally associated with Taurus males more than anybody else. So that makes sense what y'all just saying. Taurus people are generally, they know what they want, and it's not much you could do to change it, especially if they're unevolved. So mansplaining is generally associated with Taurus men more than anybody. Because I have a lot of them around me, so I know they're definitely like, they will like talk you under the ground if you let them. Like no listening, just talking. They're very associated with being dogmatic. Sagittarius men specifically can be very dogmatic if they want to be. So that's another similarity with Taurus is Sagittarius.
Taurus women can be that way too. It just has to be the right, I guess, timing or whatever. But at times they can be that way. I know because I have a friend that's like that. She gets real chatty sometimes, and I don't even get to talk.
Either gender of Taurus with being what y'all just said. Generally speaking, I don't. I know it can happen at times, but that's something I generally associate with fire or air signs or whatever, generally speaking. But that's interesting that you said that. And I looked it up randomly once because I was like, what is this mansplaining stuff was? I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't know what it meant until like a year or two ago. But I looked it up and it said, for example, Taurus man. And there was the first example that came up with, and I was thinking, like, do I know any Taurus men that did that? And as I thought for a second, I'm like, holy shit, they do. I know quite a few Taurus men that are like that or whatever. Because something you have to understand about Tauruses, and then another fire sign that actually kind of similar to is Aries. Believe it or not, Taurus and Aries have a lot more in common than you think, which is why they're both identified by their symbol as cattle. They both have cattle. Well, no, a ram is a different, but they're both horn-based animals. I'm pretty sure that's what the symbol probably even comes from to begin with. But they filter things based off what they feel specifically. If they haven't experienced it before, it's almost like to them it didn't happen. Tauruses and Aries are very much like that. Like if you're trying to get them to see your side about something or basically complaining to them about something, they're not going to be sympathetic with you unless they've experienced it before. That's something that Taurus and Aries have in common. So in other words, sometimes it's kind of pointless arguing because they're not going to see your point.
What is the song?
Well, the thing is with Taurus and Sagittarius. So say there's a male Taurus and a female Sagittarius. The Taurus will fall for the Sagittarius quickly, but if he doesn't like the certain part, like one thing about a Sagittarius, he'll like call, like if there's something about her he doesn't like, he'll just totally back up and like change everything about like what he thought, and or he'll hide his emotions and stuff. I've had that happen twice with Taurus men, and I'm like, I'm not going towards Taurus men anymore. So
well, no, like I see that from that perspective too. Mm-hmm. I've dealt with that with a male Sagittarius, and I'm a female Taurus, so I've dealt with that scenario, just as a friendship with that person.
Sure.
And they kind of wanted like somebody they could just throw up on.
Throw up on?
Yeah, like in the sense of like mouth vomit, like you like word vomit.
Oh, just kind of like a soundboard almost?
Yes, okay. About everything. Like it could be the smallest thing, and that would be like, I'm just like, don't you have your own intuition? Don't you know how to use your own brain? Like, don't you have a pinpoint accuracy of what you want? Yeah, diarrhea of the mouth. Thank you, Elena. Yeah. Like it's literally that was like the layer they did. And then if they didn't like that you didn't want to hear all of what they had to say, then they would close themselves off and act like they had other things to do. Or they would, if you were in a conversation with a group of people, they would literally shut off or like mask their like actual true selves and lie about why they felt the way they felt about something.
Right. Interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah. It was quite interesting. I was just like, you're saying one thing, but you're meaning something totally different. And then they'd be like showing their emotions on their Instagram or on a social media platform that they felt that they could, 100% give their all to at one point.
Sagittarius are very unique fire signs in the sense.
Well, they're undiplomatic too. Like they don't really have a alignment in a sense. Like if it doesn't align with how they push towards things. Hi, you're here. You're present.
Yeah. Yeah.
We see you, beautiful.
Yeah. Especially, they definitely
Godzilla!
need some beauty in their charts. They definitely need some help from their charts. That'll help out with if they have those type. Like, I'll give you an example. Brian is a good example of this. Brian is a Sagittarius, but his moon's in Libra, so he's very diplomatic. But if your chart don't fall some type of way like that with a Sagittarius, it'll be trouble. And if they have a lot of air other than Libra, specifically a lot of fire, or if they have like a Capricorn moon, because Capricorn and Sagittarius are diametrically opposed, but they're similar in their view of, okay, I'm right and I know more than you. They both have a disposition to be condescending to other people that don't know as much information. That's the similarity that I've noticed with a lot of the Sagittarius. Not all of them, obviously. Some people probably like, I'm a Sagittarius or I'm a Capricorn. That's not true. Once again, we're talking about your general chart. Like if you have a lot of duplicity, like you have a lot of Sagittarius or you have a lot of Capricorn. Capricorn and Sagittarius have a disposition to be condescending if they want to be. That's something that they both have in common because they both are a lot of them read and they learn a lot and they experience stuff. And people tend to come to them for advice a lot. So that kind of inflates their ego with being kind of condescending towards people. Because I know a lot of Capricorn and Sagittarius are like that.
Yeah, a little cynical there, yeah.
You be a little cynical there. I'm neither sign, by the way, but it's just like that's something I've known. It might be different for other people. That's just something I've observed from being a lot around.
No, it's something you've experienced. And yeah, he was a teacher, TJ. He's still, or TJ is still a teacher, just in the form of more of like
more of an electronic teacher.
Okay. Yeah,
yeah. That don't mean I know everything, by the way, but it's just like I've just experienced quite a few things, and I like this thing is with people like I never understood like the upset at being somebody that's smart. Like they just became smart out of thin air. Like people work to be intelligent. Like it's not like if somebody dropped intelligence and somebody left. So I think people should get a lot more credit for being intelligent. Because some people like, oh, what do you know, who you think you are, blah, 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 and all that. And it's just like a person works to be intelligent. They it's a skill that they exercise, which is why they're intelligent. There's literally nothing stopping from anybody from being intelligent. Everybody has the same 24 hours. Nothing stopping you from being intelligent.
Oh, I was born, so I was already intelligent.
There you go. You can look at it from that way.
There you go. There's my cynical like laughter.
You've been around Eric a lot. This how you know Eric and Dez hang out a lot.
No.
I almost see a mirror image between Dez and Eric. It's just like I'm talking to one of the other ones.
Please don't. No.
Why?
Just think.
This Facebook anonymous person.
I know. I'm like,
no, it's just.
I don't know. Yeah. It's funny.
They're having
it said Bluetooth audio.
Yeah.
I don't think that's Elaine. I think that's Brandon. Brandon.
Who's Brandon?
Is that you?
No, you're good. I'm just saying you're having all kind of technical issues here. That's all.
Poor thing. They were trying to get their Bluetooth connected, and then
you just got a little bit.
I'm entertained, but
yeah, at this point, you should probably.
I do.
Yeah, just get a hat.
If you're from another platform and you're frequently in somebody's room commenting, you might as well just start a Haps account so people can know who you are and not keep calling you the wrong person. Basically, if you're on here all the time, you're going to make the effort. You might as well just start a Haps account. Unless
that's Brandon. Brandon, you have a Haps account. Get over here.
Come on, minivan.
I don't know how any of you got any following on
it's
Facebook.
From a movie. I don't remember which movie, but it's funny.
But I didn't even know people even. I thought Facebook was just for like posting pictures. I didn't know people like.
Gay no.
Gay no hobo.
I love it.
Elena, so did I. I also thought when somebody's name was anonymous that they were a troll. I agree.
Usually.
No, that's Brandon. Brandon.
He's got a worm picture on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't reply to them from Haps.
No, they can't see your comments that's on there either.
Yeah.
You can still see their commentary.
I usually don't censor anybody's comments, but if you can, please refrain from using gay, the F gay word, homosexual, any of that. Just if you can, please refrain. Generally, other than that, I generally don't too much care what people say. Just try to refrain from that. It's just that can go south too many ways that I don't want to have to answer too many questions about. So just try to refrain from using that, please.
No political stuff, Brandon. Leave it out, bruh.
Yeah. It's just I don't get into battles with
Heterophobic.
Heterophobic. Okay, that's the new one. I like that.
I've not heard that one.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna cut it at about 12 because I got a few other things.
Oh no, that's fine.
I got to get to sweeping and mopping. I gotta clean. Yeah, I've been putting it off.
Winery open. Any final comments or anything from me, Gabby, or Sweet Pea or anybody on.
I
Any
appreciate
questions?
y'all doing my chart.
I got to
Thank you so
correlate
much
with
for your info.
Gabby about the next thing we'll talk about on Wednesday. As far as it'll definitely be on this topic, but which angle we want to come at it from, I don't know, because it's certain stuff that words we mentioned I have no idea. Like she said, the what's that C word you always say, Gabby?
Conscious and subconscious.
No.
C word. It can go all kind of ways.
There's a lot of C words.
With the chart. It correlates with the it
Chiron.
Yes,
Yeah,
there we
Chiron.
go. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
No, that's
I was about to say Cain and Abel.
Yeah, we're gonna go that
The
far.
C word. It's weird.
We're gonna go down that rabbit hole, are we?
Nice meeting you too, Elena. I've seen you around. Good to
What's
see
that,
you.
Gabby?
Wait.
No, I get you. We are on once a week, usually on Wednesday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yep.
It's called Community Circle with TJ and Gabby.
And we Gab, just let us explain now. But yeah, that's the official topic. Let us explain, okay. And you'll see the gnarly logo I made for me and Gabby. I was like, Gabby
it went into Thursday.
Could I do a collective reading?
Yes, you can.
Absolutely. Go do it, girl.
All right, you guys continue.
Elena, it was on Wednesday because they were on Wednesday. It went into Thursday.
And also try not to overlap with other people's schedules.
Right.
I'm also starting a very interesting show on Sundays called The Royal Court. I think you really with Rochelle. She was on here the other day, and that's something every Sunday we'll be talking about. And this first topic this Sunday coming up will be very, very interesting. I think everybody. It's about because she has this thing where she thinks people talk a lot about toxic fathers but not toxic mothers. So we'll talk about toxic mothers this Sunday.
Oh yeah, I've seen the I've seen the father stuff.
She's
Elena,
basically the Black Gabby. She'll be
Wednesday.
my Black Gabby, basically.
Okay.
She'll be hosting the show, me just on a different day. That's all.
Elena, they usually do it on Wednesdays, but they did it on Thursday because of me.
Right.
So they're usually on Wednesday.
This won't be a regular thing. This was a one-off.
Yeah,
it was
because of me. They did extra stuff because of me. Thank y'all.
Because Sweet Pea is not available on Fridays, which is the only other day that me and Gabby agreed to do another show is Friday. So, but she's not available. So we compromise on Thursday as we always do. What time on Wednesday? 6:30 p.m. Central.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasis on Central because people in different time zones.
Watch on TJ's profile. It always tells he schedules it so you can see it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're in Central too. Awesome.
We got all kinds
so that's perfect. We're gonna let Des close out with a reading, and we're gonna go all be flaccid after this. Go ahead, Des.
We are.
Okay. So at this time, we know that we have to come to conclusions with our own self of what's right for our own self at this moment. Even though we feel like certain signs are right for us, or if we feel mixed match with certain other people, whatever you feel at that moment, it's really you listening to your discernment and really going upon what your gut instincts is really telling you with everything that everybody's talked about tonight. And if it's right for you. So you coming back into duality with your own self. I froze, my phone froze. So balance is needed. So coming back to your own self, what is it that you need for your own self at this moment to help energy for you? Bringing that yin and yang, the dark and the light, knowing that the darkness can't survive without the light, and so on and so forth. So knowing that you are a very powerful being and you can shift and change that duality within your own self, even if it's with a mixed match person that's opposite of your sign. You can always make something work out in a way through duality. And through that energy, you're able to cross the rainbow bridge or build that rainbow bridge within your own self or with everybody else around you or within you. You are that rainbow bridge. You're able to always stay open in that duality energy of balancing yourself and really maintaining that balance for yourself if you want to stay open with conversations or energy exchanges with other people. So when you're able to stay open with those exchanges, you have a new opportunity for new things happening in your life. And this is going to bring in the mystery, the mastery of your own self, of the indigo child of your own self. What is it of you that you're missing out of your own self? What is it that you have to feel at this time that you need to master? Is there certain triggers that's coming up? Is there certain things with other people who are opposite of your sign or opposite of who you are at this moment? What is it at this moment that you can look out at the stars and say, hey, I need this in my life to master and shift and change this for me to have that duality within my own self? So really understanding what you're able to shift and change within your own self. I keep saying it, but it's true. And this is where the leadership card is going to come through. So when you're able to master those certain triggers or certain qualities about your own self, you level up, and spirit's asking you to answer that call of being that leader. What is it that you can teach about certain triggers that have come into your life? What is it that you can go forward and really change with other people? Because your story really matters to a lot of people too. So whatever you've gone through in your whole life, maybe somebody else out there needs to hear it. And spirit's calling you to be that leader for somebody else that, during their hard times too. So, and the final card is the ancestors. Really, really coming into understanding where your ancestors are coming out from, healing those certain triggers from your ancestors, the gene pool, the DNA energy that is correlated in with your genes. So, like I said, you're going back to that indigo ray energy, looking upon the stars and calling upon, what do I need to learn for this lesson or for the mastery of this trigger? Well, you can call onto the ancestors or your guides to help you master that energy. So I hope you all have a great night. And that is the reading for the collective.
Thank you. Yeah, she's back in spirit. We don't know how long, but she's here. This person, anonymous Facebook, is hilarious. Whoever this recent person is, they didn't post a million different things. So somebody's a professional apparently. But yeah, I appreciate the 523 live. Nobody talks unless I have other people on here. When it's just me, people don't ask me questions. So I appreciate when people light up the comment section. You're very animated and active, and I'm pretty sure that came from Gabby's end and Sweet Pea's end. With a lot, and probably some from Des too. So thank everybody. We'll do this again. FYI, Sweet Pea and Des, whenever you see me and Gabby on, you can hop on. You long as we cover the material we want up to that point. I don't mind people calling in and asking questions and all of that good stuff. So thank you, Gabby, as always. Thank you, Sweet Pea, for allowing me and Gabby to experiment on your chart, so to speak. Thank you, Des, for gracing us with your mystic presence. And I'll catch everybody Wednesday.
Thank y'all.
Good night.
Bye, guys.